Hey, good evening, everybody. It's Friday, December the 14th, 2018, and happy Friday. Welcome to our show. Hope everybody had a good week. I'm Rusty from Stunthangar Control Line Forums, and I'll be your host until about midnight Eastern USA time, and that all depends on how well the discussion goes. Sometimes we go on later. Depends on what the diehards are talking about when we get to that point. And so, for you people that come into my video as guests regularly, I have finally clarified the instructions on how to get the YouTube chat box to park next to your video window, so that it's convenient to uh, both watch the YouTube interaction and the video, and and it helps those conversations cross back and forth. And since, like I've said in the past few openings, they outnumber us here in the video side. The YouTubers outnumber us about 3 or 5 to 1 some nights, and so the knowledge base over there is something that we need more access to, and I think it'll make it more fun and keep the conversations flowing better, and maybe attract more people if if they can type questions and answers on the YouTube chat box and get them addressed in here. So take a look at that, read through it, and if you're interested or have trouble getting it set up so that you can look at both sides at the same time, then just mention it during the show. And I've got a few screenshots I can show you that'll help you get in. Hey, Mike, what's going on, man? Getting the kids to sleep. I have something for show and tell. All right, good. Your show and tells are always great. So we'll see you when you're able to join up. And as for the rest of you, welcome to come on in. Looks like we got 4 viewers already. Guess one of those is probably Mike. So as it loads up over on YouTube, I hope some of y'all will click into the video side, keep me company so I don't have to sit here talking to myself for too long. And anyway, we've got some Christmas decorations up. Let's see. And I can't see them behind my head because my chair's blocking them. Well, we'll need to work on our presentation for that. Yeah, you can't even tell what they are. We'll work on that as we progress and get our show properly decorated as we go along. I do have a giant Santa stocking on my chair behind me, so if I get that filled up, I won't need anything else. Oh, Mike says hi, Holly. I think Holly says hi back. Hey, David.
Absolutely.
Oh, here's Holly.
Put your rocket out.
My what?
Your rocket.
What rocket? Oh, my Christmas rocket.
Yeah.
Here we go. You want to lean into the camera and say hi? Yeah, this is my.
Howdy, y'all.
This is Holly.
Merry Christmas. Hey, you can show them my ugly sweater competition pictures? Yeah.
I'll show them that. I got it on my phone.
I competed in a contest today at work for an ugly sweater. I didn't win.
I don't know why. Hey, she takes a she takes a great picture.
I wasn't ugly enough. Okay.
Yeah, that was it. Damn it, man.
Good night, y'all.
Good night, Holly. Hey, Jack Snavely, how you doing tonight? And this, oh yeah, Santa's rocket. Santa's gone high tech now. This is a Christmas rocket. I think he doesn't have to use reindeer anymore. His reindeer have all been relegated to decorations. This rocket's actually been sitting on top of my computer since last Christmas, but we've got the Christmas spirit going on over here, as you may be able to tell. Oh, Merry Christmas, David. Thanks. And yeah, nice meeting Holly. That's David Phelps from Raleigh, Durham, and Jack Snavely from Kansas, I believe. Anyway, well, we got we only got 5 viewers over on the tube side. I think just about all y'all are in the chat box too. So anyway, so we're gonna talk about aeromodeling, Santa rockets, and any thing, whether it's boats, planes, trains, and automobiles, anything you like to do in your workshop, whenever you play with tools or draw blood or whatever. Um, that's what we're here for. Talk about it and have a good time. And so Friday night, I'm ready to have a good show. So I hope y'all will come in and help me entertain each other. All you YouTube guys, I have not been saying much about it lately, but I like to say a reminder once in a while in that chat box, since we've been talking about it, is the super chat button, that square block $sign at the bottom. It's gray from everybody, I think. That's how you send us a donation if you want to send a contribution for Sparky's server fees and equipment, and not to mention my modeling budget. Anyway, we appreciate all that. So if you feel like clicking it, that's fine. If you don't feel like clicking it, that's fine too. Everybody's welcome, whether they participate or on that or not. A lot of people like to just watch us from the shadows. Lurkers, got 7 viewers now. Hoping somebody will join live with us. And I'm on do to y'all what y'all do to me sometimes. I got my supper in the kitchen waiting for me. Partway through the show, I'll probably bring a plate in here and scarf it in front of y'all while we talk. I'll try not to make a mess. But all's well here in Columbia, except it's another rainy weekend. The drain outside of my house is clogged, and so my road is flooded, as is my backyard, and my shop has water on the floor now. So I can't get out there to vacuum it up. So it's just going to have to stay wet. I've got plans for the Cardinal hanging on the clothesline back there. Actually, it's an 018 flying line that I can slide plans back and forth on. So they're probably turning soft as we speak. But back in 2015, I had twister plans hanging up there, and they got so soft I couldn't even touch them. When everything dried out, when I vacuumed the water out, they got nice and crispy again, and it didn't seem to hurt anything. Everything I'm working on is jigged up. Oh, hey, Stephen, how you doing? I hadn't seen you in a couple of weeks. You all right?
Doing all right. Doing good.
I better turn on my pirate controls now that I saw you get in so easy. I don't want to make it too easy for everybody. So, click. Okay. Now anybody that comes in, I'll have to approve. But so what you been doing for fun lately, Steve?
Working.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
That's no fun.
That's not fun. Just basically working.
Looks like you got something for show and tell tonight.
Yes. As far as that, working, when I get home, I've been working on building a new airplane.
Looks nice.
Here I'm building for the Patriot. And that's been my fun and project we've had on the in the shop. My father and I have been working on. And,
good father and son project. Okay, well, when
that's how we started in this hobby, and that's how I started in this hobby, and that's how it's always going to be, and that's what I enjoyed most about it is how we do this always together.
Well, another father and son team have a show and tell for us. Mike Leinke's got some stuff he wants to show us, and once he gets the kids to bed, he's going to join up with us, and so maybe this will be a good show and tell night.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, like I said, we've always done this since I was a kid and up until now, and it's something that he enjoys. My father doesn't fly too much anymore, but he still enjoys the commodity of it, and he enjoys the building of it. So we do that together. We got the shop set up, and we work on that and do that together.
Yeah.
So when I get home from work, if I get an hour in or a couple hours in, depending on how my day goes, that's where I've been having my fun building a swing right now.
Yeah, that old saying, if you just do a couple, one or two little things every day, it eventually comes together, and it holds true. It finally does, as opposed to just doing nothing and wishing you were working on it.
Wishing you, if you sit on it and you'll never get it done, and then things start to twist and come out of shape too. So you have to keep working on it.
Yeah, that's what I was just mentioning a minute ago, because my shop's got water creeping in. We've had so much rain lately, and so everything that I don't want wet is off the floor. I keep it that way for obvious reasons, but I got my Cardinal fuselage that I built last year out there, but it's jigged up and it's pretty tightly held in that jig, and hopefully the moisture won't cause it to change shape.
The full-size Cardinal, 60 Cardinal?
This is a 40 size Cardinal. This is a Brodak regular profile Cardinal kit.
Profile Cardinal?
Yeah.
What are you putting in that for power?
LA 46.
There you go.
Yeah. I already got it drilled.
It'll say you can take a 40, but it won't. They don't fly with a 40. You got to go with
that extra horsepower. It's got a nice big wing, and it's fairly heavy too. So yeah, that 46 gives you the extra oomph you need going over the top in the wing over.
I tried it one time. I built a Brodak Cardinal profile, and yeah, they said it was set up for the 40s, and I did. Just everybody else, a few other people, we all tried it, and I put those FP40s in them. You had to scream them to death and wind them up, and it just didn't have the power or guts to pull through.
Yeah, the 40 FP40 is a great engine for something like a twister.
Yeah, I put that FP40. I burned one out after another. I just kept burning them up and running them dead, and it just didn't work no matter how I tried to adjust it. So I wanted to get a 46, which I couldn't find, and then I went to a swap meet, and the guy was selling an ST51 square head, and I says, okay, it's a little more than what I want, but that'll work just as well. Let's try that. So I put the ST51 square head in, and the plane came alive. And then that's how that worked. And then I told the other guys, like, how'd you get your plane to fly? And I said, I put this 51 in. I said, it needs a 46 or better. So other guys were doing what you're saying, putting LA 46s in, or Tiger 46s, well, mostly LA 46s are better in, and the plane comes alive and it flies.
Yeah. Yeah, the Cardinal's a great flying plane. I've never flown a kit Cardinal. I had an ARF Cardinal, and I flew it until it just wore out, fuel soaked, and fell apart in the air. And so now I decided I like the plane. I won a contest with it and did well. Just for a sport flying out at the field with it. And so I decided I needed a Cardinal kit that I could build to my specifications and make
it's a nice kit.
It's a
nice kit. It's a nice plane.
Yeah.
For a profile airplane, it's a nice kit. It's a nice plane. The only thing I could suggest with you when you do that, based on it being a profile, don't thin out the tail section of the profile too much. Keep it on the thicker end so you get that stab to be more stern.
I tapered mine from the stab back to a pretty narrow, but I've also got a piece of carbon fiber flat bar mounted flatways for all the way from the tail up to the wing root, and it's 7/16 inches wide or 16 inches thick, and it's sandwiched into the fuselage, so that'll keep that tail from wagging back and forth.
Yeah, when you're trying to get rid of it, you don't want to get that jelly body in the tail.
I don't know if it's going to help with the torsional twisting or not, but it'll keep it from wagging back and forth.
And I did it to mine, and I found it doing that, and I had to stirring it up. But I found out when I did that, and I went too thin with it. I built the next profile, and I left it thick in the back there, and did the same thing what you're saying, and just tapered it off at the end.
Yeah.
Kept it more thicker, and it got rid of the jelly body in the tail.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope mine comes out pretty stiff. Some people go to all the trouble to route out a cavity in the rear of the fuselage and put a geodetic array of struts in there. I don't know if that's the right terminology or not, but crisscross and balsa struts, and that'll stiffen them up pretty good and lighten them up. Hey, Minnesota Mike. Mike just joined us. Hope you're doing well, Mike. Feeling okay? So as usual, lately we're starting off a little slow, but these shows have been kind of starting to hit their groove a little later in the evening, and we've been having some good discussions lately. Some spirited discussions occasionally. So I hope some of our regulars are out there about to come in. Minnesota Mike says he's doing okay. Says I look good. Yeah, people are telling me that. I must look a hell of a lot better since I had this recent. Mike says he's doing okay. Says you got your YouTube turned on in the background. A hell of a lot better since I had this recent. Mike says he's doing okay. Says you need to turn your YouTube feed off, bud.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out how you do that so you could see, like you were telling me the other day. That's what I was just trying to work out.
So yeah. When you go to the YouTube watch page, you stop the video and mute the audio. That'll save your bandwidth too. And then those three dots at the top right of the chat box, if you click those and then click pop out chat, it'll pop out into its own window that you can reshape and bring to the front and then park it next to your video window, so it's always on top and you can watch what's going on. And
I'm trying to figure that out here.
Yeah, you see the three dots I'm talking about?
No, I don't. That's what I'm looking for now. I got where it says group chat, and I got an Xbox, a little X there, and there's no three dots there anywhere.
And it takes a minute for that chat to load. Are you seeing the chat stream yet?
No, I see where it says group chat on the side there, yeah. But I don't see anybody writing anything there.
On the YouTube watch page, that's where you see that.
No, I didn't go on the YouTube. I'm on the
no, that's on the we've got our own internal chat right here in Google Hangouts, but it doesn't have anything but the people who are in the video with us. You've got to open the YouTube page and stop and mute the video, and then look over to the right on that page where the YouTube video is, and there's a chat box. First, tell me, how did you get to the YouTube video just a minute ago? Did you click it from the at the bench thread?
Yeah, I went back into the at the bench.
Yeah, okay. What you need to do is look down at the bottom right of the video window that me and you were looking each other through, and do you see a sign that says links at the bottom right corner? Oh, here comes Sparky. Let me let him in. Do you see a sign that says links in the bottom right corner of our video chat box?
Let's see.
Where it says 14 viewers.
Yeah, links. Okay,
click links, and then two links will come up, and the top one that says YouTube page, go to that link, and then you'll be on the page with the chat box. But as soon as that page opens, once it loads up, be sure and stop the video and mute it. And then after a minute, the chat box will load, and you'll see 3 dots up at the top right. And when you click those, tell me when you see those, and I'll talk you through it.
Oh, let's see. I click. Let's see here. Let's try this again. It says choose links. You click that, then it says here choose files to share with a link. My drive shared with me. Upload.
No.
Okay, I don't think you're seeing what I'm seeing.
Okay, let me walk them through it, Rusty. Go to Stunthangar, and at the events thread, and instead of where you see the live video feed, click on that video on the right hand corner. There's going to be YouTube. Click on that, and it'll say watch on YouTube.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so go back into the at the bench.
Yeah, and the second, start that video, and you'll see a little thing in the bottom right that says "Watch on Stunthangar," and just click.
Watch on YouTube. It's the
Watch
YouTube
on YouTube.
icon.
Yeah. Right.
All right, so now I see where it's showing me this here, and if you clicked on the center of the screen, then the YouTube comes up, right?
Yeah, and now at the bottom right of that video, do you see a YouTube logo? It says "Watch on YouTube."
Right.
Click that. That'll take you where you need to go.
Okay.
And it takes a minute for that page to load. Once it does, stop the video, mute the sound, and then
Yeah, now you hear the echo or whatever. Right.
Click that. That'll take you where you need to go.
Okay.
Mute the video.
Okay. Yeah, and stop it too, because that's eating your bandwidth up. Once it does, stop the video, mute the sound, and then
now you hear the echo or whatever. Right.
Click that. That'll take you where you need to go.
Okay.
Mute the video.
Okay. Yeah. And stop it too, because that's eating your bandwidth up. Once it does, stop the video, mute the sound. Yeah, don't mute your sound. Mute the sound on the video. Or just stop the video. That's all you actually need to do. Or pause the video, whatever you want to call it. And now,
Okay, watch this, Stephen. I'm going to show you how to do it. Yep.
Click that. That'll take you where you need to go.
Okay.
Present this to everybody, Rusty.
Or pause the video. Okay. It takes a minute for that page to load. Once it does, stop the video.
Okay, watch this, Stephen. I'm going to show you how to do it. Okay, there.
Click that. That'll take you where you need to go.
Okay.
So you start to say, hey, Rusty. Mute him, Rusty, because I can't go through the feedback.
Okay. Let me go to my control and mute him.
Okay, Steve, watch this. Okay, so you go and you start the video. The minute that it starts, you want to mute it like that. Now come over here to YouTube. Let's stop the video too.
Yeah, that's better.
Come over to YouTube, the YouTube sign in the lower right hand corner, and you click that. It'll open up this screen. Now you want to make sure to mute that too. It is muted. Okay. Now, in the top right hand corner of this box, there's 3 dots. Right here on top. Right here. And the thing pops down and it'll say pop out chat. And bingo, the chat pops out. And you can close that window.
Yeah. It's a good idea to stop the video on that page too, rather than just mute it. But and then you can park that chat box wherever you want it. If you lose it, just hover over your Chrome icon on the taskbar and you can find it. And I just resize it and park it next to the video, make it as tall and about 3 inches wide as the whole screen.
Okay. Yeah, I saw what he did. Let me try that now and again.
Okay. Meanwhile, Jeffrey Riley just came in. Let's see. Where did he start? Okay. Hi, Rusty. I've been watching in stealth mode for a while. Sorry, but I've learned a lot. Hoping someone on the forum would be able to help me with the burp with my Fox 35. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure we can come up with several various opinions on that. So we'll address that during the show tonight. And yeah, it's mostly on profiles that it does it. And it's just the vibration and the configuration of the sideways cylinder. I've only run one Fox in my life on my Yak 9, and it doesn't burp enough for me to worry about it. So, oh, have we got somebody waiting to come in? No, let me make sure Sparky's in here. Yeah, there we go. Sparky had fallen out somehow.
I closed the window. I got too many windows open.
Oh, okay. All right, Steve, are you set up now? So you can.
I think I got it now. Yeah. All right. I figured this out.
Yeah, so you resize the video,
appreciate
you
the
resize the chat box, and they fit side by side just like a glove.
Yeah, I got the video on one side now, and I got the chat on the other side over here. If it's side by side, I could see it all, hear it all. Good deal. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Help me keep an eye on what's going on over there. The more of us that look at it, the more we can interact with those guys, because there's a bunch of people that know a lot that come in over there, and the less we look at them, the less they get included. Yeah, Minnesota Mike says the burp is common in the Fox, mounted on profiles. So I'll let some other people address that. I know people plug either partially or completely a bypass in that cylinder, and I've never plugged one. So
the bypass, and it'll stop the burp.
some people plug it with a piece of wood. Some people fill it with JB Weld. But it seems to work. If you got one, I think it's mostly in loops. It just coughs out at the top. Sometimes, most of the time, it restarts. If you got enough nerve to fly through the burp, then it'll crank back up and go. But it doesn't make for very pretty pattern flying. Oh, who says let me in?
That was me.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, let me address Jeffrey.
Okay.
Jeffrey Riley. What you need to do is unscrew the head, unscrew the liner, take the liner and the piston out. You're going to have to take the motor apart, basically. Take a popsicle stick with JB Weld and fill in the bypass port, and that will stop the burp. You also will probably need to run like a 9 3/4 5 propeller. Hopefully that'll get you straightened out.
Yeah, I ran a 9.6 on mine. It seemed to run well. I've had good luck with everything from 9.6 to 10.4s. Hope that answers your question, Jeff. All right, we got one more person trained up on the YouTube chat box. That's good.
Hey.
Helps if you got a computer. Telephone's a different story, but Steve Hines can tell you how to do that. He usually shows up about halfway through the show.
You're welcome, Jeff. What are you building there, Stephen?
What I'm building is a Patriot.
You made progress pretty fast.
Yeah. Since I talked to you about it, I asked you when you were building yours. So I got into starting on the bench and built up the jig, came up with a way to make it rods and make a jig, and built the wing. Came out nice and straight. So I set up the jig and then was able to take the rods, flip it over so I could do both sides, and keep everything nice and stern and straight.
How much does it weigh?
When I got done with this, I remember what you were saying with, so I was trying to target with that. When I framed it and I had all the framing done of the wing, I was at 5.5 ounces. Then I had the trailing edge on and so forth. Then I got into it, putting the bell crank into it, and the wing tips, the front sheeting, and I got up to 11. And then and that's also with the gear blocks. Oops, there we go. Because the gear blocks I got here are mounted inside the wing.
Yeah.
And they're quite heavy. They weigh about 1.5 ounces each. But they're about 1.25 ounces. So I got each.
What's the span on that airplane?
This is 57 3/4 is the wingspan. It's 624 square inches.
Yeah, it'll build out about 15 and a half, the flaps on it.
When I get done with it, I already put the what I did with that was I'm at right now 12.8. The way I'm sitting right now, the way you see it.
12, 13, for every 15, 16 ounces.
Yeah, let me put it this way. The way the plans state for this, they want you to have the built-up flaps. And I looked at that. So I took the sheeting for the built-up flaps. And I took the two top and bottom sheeting, and I put them on the scale, and I weighed those, and they came out to 0.6. Okay, for each side. So I was 1.2 ounces if I had that, and then you still have to build them up. You got to build the trailing edge, the leading edge. You got to build all the way around it, make the small ribs inside, make the built-up flap. So it would come out a lot heavier than that. So instead they're 1/4 inch thick when you're done. I took a 1/4 inch balsa instead solid, traced that out, and made them solid flaps. I saved a ton of weight doing that because, like I said, it was 0.6 just on the top and bottom sheeting. I got the whole flap already cut out using this one solid piece, and I'm 0.7.
You saved a ton of work too, I think.
So now I'm 0.7. So 0.7 and 0.7 came out to 1.4, and I saved a ton of weight, a ton of work with a ton of weight, because when I looked at it, and I took all the pieces. The top of it to build up the flaps. I took that and I took all the pieces and put it on the scale. It came out a lot heavier than 1.4. So yeah, that way we were saying that would have been about 15, 16 ounces. Now I'll be at about 14.
Jeff Riley's asking you questions, Bert.
Somebody help him.
What do you think? Does that come out right then, Sparky?
Yeah, it'll be all right.
Comes out good? I tried to hollow out and take as much wood as I could out of this and sand it down and do everything I could to take out wood from it and lighten it up in every way, only because the wing itself, the gear blocks that they make you use in the wing, because the gear's supposed to be mounted totally inside the wing, they're heavy. That was the only part that came out heavy in the wing.
Drill some holes in those flat cords.
What's that?
Drill some holes in the flat cord.
I did. I got a bunch of holes drilled into it. I drilled a bunch of holes into it and so forth. Now, the other thing that they did was, which I was concerned with, I made a couple alterations with it because I was thinking the way I looked at the plans and the way the plans stated, you put the wing and you put it inside the platform, and then they want you to mount it into there, and then you put your covering over it. And I'm saying, geez, if you bend the gear and the gear gets out of whack, and you try to bend it back, you'll tear the wing apart. So I didn't like the idea that you couldn't remove the gear. So what I made instead was I made gear doors. So if I ever have to get in there for any purpose, I got gear doors that I made on the wing so I could take it out, and I can actually then get at the landing gear and remove the gear. I need to bend it or straighten it out or anything to that point without tearing the wing apart, trying to move it or straighten it, which I did on both sides. I made them nice and square, nice and clean, but they sit right in there. And then I get a nice good pocket door.
It doesn't look like a Patriot. That looks like a Temptation or imitation wing. Is that a Ted Thatcher design or?
No, this is Jerry Phelps.
Really?
Jerry Phelps. This is the RSM kit. I got the Morris bell crank in it right now with the lead outs, and working on, as I said, just before we signed on now, I was working on the flaps, and I cut the flaps out because I started every little piece I'm weighing. And I looked at it before I even started with this. I took all the wood to build a wing and I took every single rib and the small half ribs that go into there, pieces for all the sheeting. I put it all on the scale, and that came out to already 4.7 ounces, almost 4.7, 4.9 ounces. And when I got done framing, I was 5.5 ounces. So I was happy there. And then, like I said, you put the belt crank into it, you put the gearbox into it. That's why I gained a little bit of weight. And now it came up to just about 13 ounces.
As long as you're under 15, 16 ounces, you'll be fine.
I think so. And I figure that if I keep it there and I keep doing what I'm doing as far as being conscientious on the weight and watching it, I'm pushing for about 56 to 60 ounces.
What motor?
I have a very special motor for this.
Well, what motor?
It calls for a 46, but what I'm putting in is a Tom Lay ST51.
That weighs 12 ounces.
Right. Well, the reason I call that a special motor, and the reason I'm going to mention it as a special motor, is that was the last motor he actually reworked before he passed away.
Well, if you're looking for 60 ounce, you might hit 60, but I kind of doubt it. Not with a 12 ounce engine.
Yeah, Tiger 51 weighs 12 ounces. So I'm figuring my downside, and I keep tossing and the only thing I'm tossing and turning about this build is what always bites me in the rear on it is the finish. Paint always jumps up on me. Now I feel if I paint it, I'm gonna have a hard time trying to get that weight. If I monocoat it, I'll target that weight.
If you want to paint it, I can tell you how to do it. And my buddy John, I'll be going over his house tomorrow.
You want to come to Vegas and paint it?
No. I've shown him, it's called discipline. You have to discipline yourself. You get 2 mason jars, 1 quart mason jars. You fill 1 quart up with clear dough, and then take that quart and split it in half. So now you have 2 half quarts, and you fill both those up with thinner. You have 1 quart for substrate, one of the 2 quarts, so it's really only a pint. but you have one of the quarts for substrate, meaning you can paint all that on the bottom, 3-4 coats of dope, and then put on your silk span or tissue, and then 3 or 4 coats on top of that. If you don't have to use it all, don't. Set that aside when you're done. That's all. This is all the paint you're getting. So now you have 1/2 pint. That's not very much. That's 4 ounces for color. So you want to paint your airplane with 1/2 pint. So you're going to take that 4 ounces of color and put it in another mason jar and put thinner in it. You can use all the thinner you want, and then your trim colors. That doesn't add up to much as long as you're not painting it 10 million coats or whatever. Sand between all the coats, and then your last quart of paint is all you have for top coat. I only run 3 top coats. That's it.
You mean your clear finish?
My clear finish. It doesn't look plastic. It's presentable. I usually get 17, 18 points, but it's all in the elbow grease. You have to sand and rub to get that shine. Shine doesn't come from paint. It comes from sandpaper.
You're sanding every single coat of color.
I don't sand color, but I sand clear. So you want to sand, okay, 3 coats of dope at the wood. You're sanding between each coat with 400 grit sandpaper. Put on your silk span, 3 coats, 400 grit sandpaper. Between those coats, my finish, my color is on so thin, I don't dip or sand, or I'll sand it off. So after the color's on it, then I'll put 2 coats of clear dope on it, do my trim, and then whatever. You only got that 1 quart of dope, 1 quart of clear. So you don't want to use any more than that. So this finish is discipline. If you run out of paint, you're finished. You're done. So you're stuck with what you got. So you got to make the best use of what you have. Don't add any more paint, because dope is the heaviest thing on the airplane.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing really well with the build, and I get the whole plane framed, and I get the target weight where I want to be. I get into painting it, and then it kills me, and I end up with weight. And
okay, those first 2 coats on the David Phelps is asking, am I brushing or spraying? First 2 coats on the wood are brushed on, and everything after that, well, you have to put your tissue down with a brush coat. So you want to put everything after the first coat of brush, after the tissue is sprayed. Everything. You want to get off the brush as soon as possible so you don't leave any brush marks in it.
So you put 2 coats on the base wood, then you put the tissue down with 1 coat.
No, 3 coats of clear on the wood, sanding between each coat, and I use a brush. First coat, I normally do 100%, then the next 2 are 50-50.
Okay.
And then put your tissue down. And then 3 coats of clear on that, sanded between each one with 400 grit sandpaper. And then just a light coat of color, because you only got 4 ounces. That's all you got. So it's kind of like spray the room and pass the airplane through it. You'll be able to look through it when you hold it up at the light. You can see right through the wing on my airplane, all of them. But you can't see it when it's sitting on the ground.
Just spraying that thin. Okay.
It's the only way you're going to get a 6-ounce finish. And people say, well, you can't do a 6-ounce. Yes, 50-50 for spraying, David. You can do a 6-ounce finish, and I've done a bunch of them, even on a big airplane, but you can't use any paint. Model airplane painting is learning how to paint without using paint. You want to use sandpaper, not paint.
Well, what I wanted to put was, if I was going to paint it, I was going to use that doctor paper. What do you think of that? Is that a good choice or not?
It's just as good as silk span. My next model is going to be, let me get this somewhere. My next model is going to be, because I built it so light it's going to be all a carbon veil from APC with Japanese tissue over it.
I tried the carbon veil, and I used, and you even said it. It absorbs too much dope. I tried doing the whole plane with carbon veil. I did the tissue. I did the poly span over the wing, and I carbon veiled the rest of the airplane, but it took a lot of dope.
Right, but you didn't hear what I said. I'm going to carbon veil it to make the wood hard, but I'm going to put Japanese tissue over all the carbon veil. So instead of 3 coats of dope, Japanese tissue finishes in 2. So I'm, trying a different method.
Okay.
Using the carbon to harden the wood, and then Japanese tissue to finish it off, to seal it and finish it off. Which I did on my Thunderbolt, but what I did on that was, on my Thunderbolts, is I used automotive clear, and that kind of killed the finish.
Yeah, I don't want the sanding and rubbing it out and stuff. I'm just afraid of if I put it on there and I'm going to gain the weight on the paint. And that's the only fear I have to it. Other than that, I love the finish, the beauty of the finish to it.
We got 18 viewers watching us tonight. I wonder where all our live camera people are.
There's
at 624 square inches. Where do you think I should try to target at for weight?
light as possible.
I know that. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. I want it to be between 56 and 60 or 58 and 60 ounces. You're saying that would be, where do I want to really target at?
Well, I built a Nats airplane with a PA-65 in it, that size, at 49 ounces. But you ain't going to be able to do that. Not from where you're at now. But you're going to end up probably 61, 62 ounces. And anything under that will be okay.
I could live with that. That the ST51 will pull it out with no problem. That's a powerful motor.
That's what sets you up for the weight, is that motor. That airplane is designed for Super Tiger, which is in the 7.5 ounce range.
The ST, let me see, the Super Tiger 46 type or the LA 46 is something like 9 ounces.
Yeah, LA's too heavy.
LA's heavy, but it says they want you to put the plans say to put an OS 46 in it, but it's a little heavier. I know the Willie Wargas has one, and it's beautiful, and he came out at 54 ounces, 54. Some places say 56. Depends on, I guess, their scale to that. But he runs a double star 60 light.
And that's a light
motor.
That's a lighter engine.
Yeah, that's an 8-ounce motor. And that package he has works excellent.
Minnesota Mike's asking Steve if your dad flies at the Golden State too.
Oh, my father doesn't fly at the Golden State. My father, he comes by and supports me. I fly at the Golden State, but he doesn't fly at the Golden State. He just comes by as my supporter. He helps me throughout the event.
I know Charles Carter and Dennis Nunez fly at the Golden State.
No, my father never flew at the Golden State, but he came with me every year that I go out there and I compete. Biggest competition last one he had was at VFC. That was a few years back.
How many contests do you usually make it to every year, Steve?
If I'm lucky, three or four.
Yeah.
It's getting the time off of work and the travel.
I usually do 3. I do the 2 at Huntersville, and I do the one at Triple Tree at Joe Knoll week.
I go to Whittier Narrows and I fly in the Palmer event that they have there. Then they also have the Jim Tucci event. I try to make that one. They do have it. Sometimes they announce it, sometimes they don't, but I make that one. I've been to VSC quite a few times. I try to get out to that one, and I go to Golden State.
I'd love to go to that VSC.
And Golden State, VSC, they run a beautiful event. They're such a well-organized and beautiful event. That's such an excellent flying site. It's a very enjoyable event.
Yeah, from what I hear, some of them are more like work than fun. So
that's a very enjoyable event. I don't have a shot in winning when I go to VSC, so that takes a little bit of the pressure off. But because of the high caliber of competition and the people you meet, it's a time where I enjoy myself because of the people that are better than me, and I'm trying to fly just as good as them and learn from them, and then you get to talk to them.
That's how you improve.
And then you also, they get, a lot of them people will give you helpful hints and stuff that you can work on there at the event and then take back home with you when you practice. And it's a great learning experience as well. So that's a great time that I have out there just for that purpose. And last year I went to it. I had out of the 4 years I went there, last year was my best year I had there. Which was this past year.
You fly an expert, right?
I fly advanced. On a regular category, I fly advanced.
Yeah, I was ready to try advanced. I'll probably, now after such a layoff, I'll probably start back in intermediate first and then work my way up, depending on how practices go before my first contest. Hopefully that'll be this spring. Hopefully.
Has Don flown his new airplane?
Don Jenkins?
Yeah.
I don't know. If he had, I think I'd have heard about it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, you're asking if I flew an expert. You know, when you go to VSC, regardless of what class you're in, whether you're intermediate, beginner, intermediate, advanced, or expert, everybody's considered an expert class because it's all classes combined. So I was really excited this year when I just went past year. There were 52 entries in it, and I came in 16th.
Do you know why that is?
What's that?
Do you know why it's that way?
Why is it set up that it's all classes combined?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Because back in the day, it used to be junior, senior, open. We didn't have, intermediate, advanced, and expert. And we all flew together.
Right. So
And,
that's how that came together that way. I enjoy it. I mean, for that purpose, you know, I'm flying against a lot better people than me, and like I said, it's a great learning experience with that. When you ask me if I fly advanced, I do fly advanced, but I'm at borderline with that, between borderline of advanced to expert now. I'm working hard at moving up.
my very first contest, I had to fly against guys like Tom Warden and Bill Noyes and Bob Whiteley, and it was unreal.
Bob Whiteley, yeah, I like that guy. He's a fun guy to be around.
You ever see his Miss Cal?
Yes. Yeah, I saw his Miss Kel, and one plane he had that was great for him. I mean, that was a true winner with him. Was his FS, his classic airplane, his FS, and unfortunately he lost that airplane. But he was a diehard competitive winner when it came to that airplane, regardless of what the air was or wind was. He just flew it, and he says, "I fly like I stole it," and he would go out there to win. And he's a strong competitor.
That's how those combat guys, that come over to Stunt fly. They fly it like they stole it. They're not afraid of the ground or anything.
So, you know, people rattle his cage up quite a bit because they think it's amusing to do that to him. You can rattle his cage up pretty quick. But he's a great guy and great competitor. Sparky, yeah, you probably heard already the sad news that came across from last night.
No, what?
Bob Lampione, I just heard, passed away.
That's a shame.
Yeah, that might be who Bob Hunt was talking about the other night.
Yeah, Bob Hunt will be talking about him.
If you go to Control Line Guys videos, you'll see a video of Bob Lampione flying my S6B Supermarine. I look, Bob.
Yeah, he was a great guy. He was a lot of fun. But that's what I remember him.
Let me let Mike in. He's got something for us.
That's who I remember him for a long time because when I lived in New Jersey, he was in Flushing. That was a half an hour, 40 minutes away. You do a contest in a day out there. It was a day trip. You just went out there, flew the contest, came back home the same day. You didn't have to go out like I do here on the West Coast. If I plan a contest, I got to plan it day ahead to travel out there, get a hotel room, do that whole deal, and then travel to come back and so forth, which is 1 or 2 days in a hotel room. Plus, it's more of an expense than contests on the East Coast I used to go to. About 8 of them a year, and it was because they were so close to each other. Out here, you got to travel to them. So I make less contests than you can there. One I want to go to this year, I'm going to try to change it and make it. I want to go to the Southwest Regionals this year, which is next month, and then I also want to get out to the Northwest Regionals.
Hey, Mike, how you doing tonight?
Hey, Rusty, Sparky, Ruben, how's it going, guys?
We're all good.
Where's everybody at tonight?
We got 4 video people in here, and we got 18, 19 guys out there on the tube watching. So everybody's out on the tube, I guess.
Okay. Get to watch Sparky Sand tonight? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, he's polishing off a set of ribs, I think.
Right on.
When I come back next year, back to this place, it's going to be a whole airplane.
Yeah, he's making a kit to take back home to Minnesota.
Okay. Well, next year, you mean like 2 weeks?
Yep.
Yeah.
Not Minnesota, Missouri.
Yep.
Well, didn't you build an airplane in 30 days, Sparky? Like
11.
11?
Yep.
Oh, the first one I saw that you built really quick was 30 days or something. I must have missed the 11-day airplane. Holy cow. Which one was the 11-day airplane?
An Aries.
The Aries?
Aries.
Okay. What was the one that was 30 days start to finish?
I believe that was my Continental.
Your Continental. Yeah, that's what the red, white, and blue one, right?
Yeah.
With the pilot with the magazine laying on the dashboard, correct?
Yeah. The exact copy of Tom Morton's airplane.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a nice airplane. I remember that. That was the first time I met you in person at the Memphis Stunt Classic. You had that airplane there when you crashed in my room.
That wasn't Memphis. That was Kentucky.
Paducah?
Yeah, Paducah.
Yeah, well, Memphis is when you crashed in my room, I think.
Yeah, I don't remember. Might be.
Because we ate at that crappy Mexican joint right next to the hotel. We stayed in that dive. But I remember the Continental, and I was terrified to touch it and even pick it up, but I was amazed how light it was. And that was the first time I ever had a real stunt ship in my hand, other than a ringmaster or something like that. And, you know, full blown expert stunt plane. Hey, what's up, dude?
Hey, we got
Oh,
Warren coming in. Good
Jeffrey
evening,
Ryan.
Warren.
Hello.
How's it going?
Oh, pretty good.
How do you pronounce your name?
Which one?
You.
My first name is Trajan. My
Right.
middle
Okay.
name is Doran.
So what do you go by?
At work, most places, Trajan.
Ryan. Okay, because that's what I see in the box here for your name. But I hear other people call you Doran
Yeah.
Yeah.
on the live chat. What do you prefer?
I just prefer Trajan, but you know, like
Tryon.
everybody in the stunt community knows me by Doran by now. So
Well, if you prefer Tryon, that's what I'm going to call you.
Okay, and I'll start pronouncing it correctly too, because I've been saying Trayan.
I made me a new a bell crank for the twister because I didn't like the one that's in a kit. So that's what I'm doing.
Well, I'm going to call you Doran because that's all I've ever known you by.
Fine.
Hey, Sparky,
I love Sparky.
what ribs are you working on there? For what airplane are you building?
A redesigned XL.
A redesigned XL.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? Bigger, smaller, faster, lighter?
Well, hopefully lighter. Same size, different moments. Different wing. This will be the first one I've tried with a recessed pocket hinge in the wing. So we're gonna try that.
Okay.
Should be okay.
What do you got new for us this week, Tryon? It looked like you had a wing there, buddy.
Oh, nothing. No, nothing new. I'm just still working on this twister. You know, nothing exciting. Did you fly? Did you manage? You had an SV, right?
Me? Yeah, I've got two SV-22s. Yeah.
Fly them?
Not yet,
Not
because
yet.
just today.
I'm dying of curiosity to see you flying them.
Well, I'm dying to fly them, but I wasn't able to because I didn't have this stuff yet. This showed up today from Aero Products.
Mm-hmm.
I've got two props for the 61, two props for the 65, and a pipe for the 65.
Mm-hmm.
All this just showed up today, so I've been unable to. I have the airplanes and the engines, but I did not have props or a pipe for the 65. My wife doesn't know this, but this is my Christmas present right here. This is right here. I mean, dude, that's $160 worth of propellers right there.
Let me guess, is the best Christmas you've got this year.
Right. So $160 worth of carbon fiber props, and then I guess a little over $100 for the pipe for the PA. So that's my Christmas shop, and I put it on the credit card. I told my wife, I said, don't buy me any stocking stuffers. Don't buy me any Christmas presents because I've already got my Christmas.
That's the best Santa.
That's Santa. Yeah. So all that stuff, like I said, it just showed up today. It came about 4 afternoon.
Awesome.
So now, Tryon, I have props. I have a pipe. I can finally install these engines and put propellers on them. And the 5 plane, I'll be able to fly right away because that engine has already been run and it's broken in. The 61 is still a new engine, so I'm going to have to put that on the stand and break it in.
Yeah.
But the way it is now, the weather has been total shit. And not quite, but at least I know once the weather breaks, run out and go, and fly the 65 anyway.
All right.
It's ready to go. So
I don't think anyone was hearing what you just said because all we could hear is
oh, was it break?
I muted. I had to mute Sparky. He was sanding.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sparky was saying, trying what I was saying was I'll be able to fly the 65 right away as soon as I have decent weather. So tomorrow or Sunday, I'll get the prop on it and get the pilot in the 65, and it'll be ready to go. So it's just going to be a weather permitting day. As soon as I get a good day with weather, I can run out and fly that one at least. I'm very excited to fly it too. I'm curious to see how it compares to the crap I've been flying all my life.
Probably night and day, and the first thing you're probably gonna notice that I'm guessing these planes are already trimmed out and pretty much ready to go in good shape. As long as your motor is properly set up and your CG is properly set up, perhaps the only thing you have to do on them is just set up your handle to your flying style. I mean, how much response do you want to have out of the plane? And from that point, I think it's going to be an eye-opening experience because when the plane flies better than you can move up and make progress. And when a plane it's reliable, it's consistent, and it does what you want it to do, the focus shifts from, is the engine going to quit on me? Is it going to run properly? Or, do I have enough line tension? Or is it able to turn a corner or whatever, to shifts to where do I want to put it next? So, my opinion is that people usually do a disservice to themselves by flying bad planes, thinking like I'm not ready for a good one, because a good one will make your life a lot easier.
Oh, absolutely, I agree 100%. I mean, that's how I feel about my combat stuff. For contests, I fly my best equipment, but just for banging around and flying with my kid, we fly junk, and it actually. It's probably worse for us to fly junk when we're practicing because they don't fly as well.
They teach you bad habits.
You make more mistakes with them.
No, they teach you bad habits because you fly around their problems, right? Instead of making progress.
Right. Yeah. I hear you 100%. Yeah. I mean, I've had some pretty decent stunt planes, nothing with crazy bad trim characteristics or anything like that.
Yeah.
And I started to figure out the stunt run and all that stuff over the last 2 years or so. But yes, this is definitely going to be me going from a Volkswagen to a Corvette, I think.
Probably,
in terms of engine and airframe,
Yes.
So I'm excited to fly them. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh yes.
Be a lot of fun.
I was reading an article in Formula1.com, and they were talking about one of the upcoming stars, Charles Leclerc, which is a French guy. He's going to race for Ferrari next year, and in the first part of the season, he wasn't doing very well, but in the second part of the season, he was doing very well. So what changed over there? What happened in the first part of the season, he was trying to make the car drive, perform to his liking, to his driving style, right? And then he realized that he needs to change his own style to match
fit the car. Yeah.
And his performance moved up. So you might find yourself in that situation.
Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying.
What do you... Hang on.
Your wife doing laundry over there? What was that?
Parking the car.
Okay. I always love these little interruptions that we get from the side.
Yeah. I was looking for somebody using a belt sander or something.
Yeah, it's always funny, you know, when somebody's dog or cat or wife walks through making noise. Oh, he left a call. What happened?
Who's that?
I don't know.
Tryon left a call.
He reached up. Oh, yeah, he dropped out.
Yeah, I think cars in the driveway. Maybe.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Knocked him out.
He'll be back.
There he
Yeah,
is. He's back.
Here he comes. Let me reapprove him.
You're sideways. Sideways.
And,
Are you
trying
using a
to?
phone?
I'm trying to let you back in.
Are you using a phone too, Tryon?
I'm trying to let you back in. Hang on just a second.
No, I think he said he's freezing because his wife has the garage door open. I think that's what he
Hit
meant.
the garage door over the button and knocks you out.
Are you there, Tryon?
Yeah, he's here.
Okay. Are you on a phone as well? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Rusty, I heard you talking earlier when you were on YouTube about the phone, the computer thing. Yeah, I use the phone because then I can walk around and be in the shop or go outside. It's just Google Hangouts, man. You just got to get Hangouts and you 2 buttons, and as long as you have Hangouts loaded on your phone, you're good to go.
Yeah.
Strong enough Wi-Fi signal. You know.
Here comes Steve Hines.
Don't let him.
Yeah,
Don't let him in, man.
yeah, he can come. There's worse characters than Steve out there.
Turn his mic off, man.
It's off. Ah, he turned it on. Oh well.
Yeah, I can't get into YouTube. I don't know if anybody else can or not.
Yeah.
I was gonna watch the questions, but it won't let me in.
Oh, hey, Rusty, why don't you turn Sparky's mic back on? He's done sanding. He's over there on the couch.
Okay.
All right. Well, we got a few people here now. Maybe we'll get the show and tell going.
Yeah. Hang on. Let me. I can't seem to turn Sparky's mic on. Hang on. Let me. Oh, it's back on now. Okay.
I'll just leave you muted.
So, Mike, you got your motors in your new planes and test flown them?
No. You missed. You're about 5 minutes too late, Steve.
Oh.
I just now today got a box from Randy Smith. So I got 2 props for the 61, 2 props for the 65, and I got the pipe for the 65.
Oh, okay.
All I got to do is put the pipe on the 65 and the prop, and I can go fly that because that engine is broken and ready to go. But the 61 is new, so I have to break that engine in.
Oh, okay.
But the plane with the 65 will be flyable tomorrow. So if we get good weather in the next few days, I'll be able to go fly that one at least.
Cool.
What length did he say to make the pipe?
I'm sorry?
What length did he say to make the pipe?
What length?
Yeah.
Well, I got to. It's long, man. I mean, the part that you put the aluminum insert into is about 6 inches long.
Okay.
So he told me to measure back, cut it down so it fits in the channel, then put the aluminum insert in there and the silicone over that and the zip ties and all that.
What length did he tell you to make it? There should be a mark on it on the first baffle, and you measure from the center of the glow plug to that mark.
Yes, you're correct.
What link did he tell you?
I don't know. It's written down on the paper that he sent with me. I don't have it in front currently. I don't have it currently.
Yeah, just make sure you cut the pipe and not the header.
Yeah, yeah. All that info is in the box. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Cut the pipe, put the insert in. Yeah, all the information. You gotta bear with me, guys. This is my first pipe stunt engine, so there's a big learning curve for me as far as all that goes.
Yeah.
So I don't, Sparky, what you're asking me, I don't have the exact answer because I got to read the instructions basically. I may have to call Randy back and get some more advice.
Whatever he says to make the pipe, it'll be right.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I've got the sheet that he sent me on how to cut the pipe and how to measure it from the glow plug back. Don't cut the header, all that good stuff. And I'll get into that when I get ready to install it. The box just showed up like 5 hours ago, literally. It just came today. So
Okay.
I haven't educated myself on installation of pipes or lengths or any of that stuff. It's gonna be a learning process for me with this stuff.
So now you're trying an electric, I see, huh?
What's that?
You're trying an electric?
Yeah, something we'll get this going. Something I built for Sam. So let me show you the original thing. I'll get this down. That is the Brodak Gladiator.
Yeah.
Cafe combat plane. Some of you guys, you might have even flown that if I've seen any of you guys around.
Flying control, I'm trying to get in.
Yes.
Dennis had a mission and John Brodak.
Yeah, Sparky flew it, Samantha flew it.
Yeah, okay. So
Rusty, let him in.
I did.
That power plant that's on there with the ESC and the timer. So I had a couple of these things that Dennis and John had given me to try out and play with. We sent a couple out west to some combat guys out there. Sam and I kept two. Well, we wrecked one. So I had the motor and the ESC and everything else from that Gladiator plane. So I built this just to fart around with. If everyone can see that there. These are Phil Cartier's Super Hacker cores. They're half-A cores. And these ones were actually long. These are 48 inches. They usually come 36 inches, but Phil had cut some blocks that were longer. So I left them long, and I just basically built this electric stunt plane. I pretty much guessed everything, and built it to just about looks right out of stuff that was just in the shop. The carbon fiber laying around in the shop.
What's that on the bottom of the wing?
That's the next part I'm getting to, Steve. That's a receiver because instead of putting a timer on it, I bought this $22 Skyfly RC car transmitter. And if you give me a second here, I'm going to tell you what's going on. We're going to go black for a minute there. So at Brodak, Will Davis, at not only Brodak, but at Triple Tree, Will Davis and Mark Weiss have those ring rats, which I'm sure, Rusty, you're familiar with.
Yeah.
The ring rat airplanes. And they run them with electric motors and an RC car throttle. And Sam flew the piss out of one of those things at Brodak's last summer that Will had. So I wanted to build him an electric stunt plane with a throttle on it. So I used the Brodak electric motor and the RC car throttle, and I got to do this so this thing don't take off across my bench. Hang on a second. Try and do that.
That would make for entertainment.
Yeah, I know, right? So we got the RC car throttle, and then it's throttleable. And it's got plenty of power. It'll absolutely stunt. I have no doubt in my mind that it's going to stunt.
Okay, I thought I seen a timer up on the front of that, but
no, there's no timer on the front. I do have timers for it. No, there's no timer on this one. This one
maybe it was on the red one. I seen a timer then.
It was the other one. I had a timer on this airplane earlier. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think we're going to fly down about, I don't know, 45, 47-foot lines, Spectre lines, and Sam can just go out and bomb around with a throttled airplane, you know?
Yeah.
He really enjoyed being able to take off and land and take off and land and take off and land. So that was the goal of this plane. And it's just all built from just junk I had laying around in the shop, you know? Everything it's just stuff I had. Gonna have a lot of wing area.
Now, does that
it's 48.
Does that transmitter, does that have in-point adjustments on it?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Oh, okay. So you can limit the RPM on it to where you want max RPM and.
Yeah. There's a here. See, I got it open up here. I don't know how we can see down in there, but yeah, the pot in there, you can turn it up, turn it down, how much you want. When it starts,
the trim.
Yeah, that's like the one Dick made for the guy here a couple years ago that had COPD or whatever from some kind of oil he worked with when he was a machinist on these screw machines and stuff, and it worked well for him because he'd run out of breath and he could land his airplane.
Right.
We just had to get top RPM set, so he didn't have to think about where the throttle was. So when he pegged the throttle, that was his lap time, and then when he took the throttle off, then it would stop.
No, I think it's gonna have a blast. It's got plenty of thrust. The whole setup weighs 16.1 ounces. The whole thing.
Wow.
16.1 ounces. And it's
broken now.
oh, it ain't. I just did something stupid. I turned the transmitter off. The motor went about a quarter throttle. I didn't know that was going to happen.
Wow.
Electrics, right? Got earning curve down on the electrics.
It might be a radio issue.
Yeah, could be. Yeah.
Sometimes they have fail safes that kick in. It's a matter of setting up that fail safe on the radio.
Okay. Well, I'll have to look at that a little harder. Yeah, I shut the transmitter off and it went to just like a quarter throttle. It just hit the cat's water bowl.
So that's a car. It may not have fail-safe on it.
Yeah, because it has reverse. Yes,
Yeah.
it's perhaps it's set up right now to fail safe in the center where it's neutral, which is stop basically.
As Sam is coming down the hill, you can put it in reverse, so it'll stop and then give it the throttle forward.
Reverse on the throttle. You're right.
Yeah. As he's coming down the hill in the reverse swing over to get to the turn, throw it in reverse and it'll stop right there and then turn and then go again.
Go again. Snap the corner in reverse.
I don't think that's in the judging manual. I might have to investigate that.
That'd be pretty interesting.
Have you ever seen them do that in indoor pattern?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. Yeah.
And them guys will stop that thing and actually back it up.
Yeah.
Didn't you guys try doing that with that infrared signal, making a handle with an infrared trigger?
Wendy's the only one I know did that.
Yeah, he tried doing that with Wendy, and he says he didn't know how much to give it and not, and so forth, to bring it around when he did that trigger. Sometimes too much, sometimes too little, but still, you try to do that and just shut the thing off and then snap it, and then hit the trigger and go again.
Yeah, it's hard to set the speed of it is the big thing. We tried that setup like that on a I can't think of it now. What's that? Bislop. And we couldn't get it to work because the radio wasn't good enough to set the endpoint to where we could just like increase it 500 RPM on the trigger, where you'd hit it to make it climb, you know, when you brought it up and stuff. And it worked, but it was too hard to try to get it to hover and stuff like that. But
What Mike has there is basically how my shoestring scale plane is set up, only I'm using a regular airplane transmitter hanging on the belt.
oh, okay.
Well, I bought this Fly Sky boat and car transmitter because this is what Will Davis and Mark Weiss use on the ring rats for Joe Nall when they fly. You know, I don't know how many people they teach how to fly these electric things.
Are you going to control the throttle from the outside?
No, Sam's gonna hold the handle in his right hand and fly, and he's gonna hold the car throttle in his left hand.
Well, that's no fun. You should
Why
be
not?
you should be controlling the throttle from the outside.
Oh yeah, I mean I could, Sparky. Yeah. I got you. I could. Yeah.
Hey, we're coming in.
Yeah. Yeah. I could totally do that. That's the thing Sam loved about it so much, was being able to slow the airplane down, land on the little patch there, the little bit of concrete they have at Brodax. And then if you hit the gas again, he was able to take off again. And it's gonna be a floater. It's got plenty of wing area, plenty of power. He's gonna be able to slow it right down, land it, take off. And if he goes full throttle with it, he'll be able to do figure eights and fly inverted, and it's gonna do everything. You know, I just got to figure out what line length to put it on, but we'll play with it in the backyard if we get some decent weather. It's ready to fly. I just got to hook some lines up and go. So
The other thing you can do too is that somehow put like a strap on it so he can hang it over his shoulder. And
Or a belt clip, something like that.
yeah, so actually,
I actually thought about making a handle out of that.
Look at the scale for them. The scale guys take those controllers apart and incorporate the potentiometer into the handle itself, so they run the trigger on their regular control line handle.
yeah,
I could bend some sheet metal around this thing and definitely put some connections on the look. I mean, it's a pistol grip RC car handle. You can do up and down. For this little electric thing, I mean, it's really pretty close to a toy. It's not really a real control line airplane. but it
Yeah.
could be a lot of fun for a 10-year-old, you know.
Yeah.
Be a lot of fun for any year old.
When you were 10 years old, if you had something like this, wouldn't you have been pretty jazzed about it, you know?
Oh, hell yeah.
No gas to mess with, no, not trying to have to start an engine and all that. And, you know,
Most
you plug it.
60-year-olds are jazzed about that.
Yeah.
I understand that. I understand. But I'm just saying, you know, for saying I can hand him 8 batteries and turn him loose in the backyard and he'll be out of my hair for an hour or so anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
I still remember that first video when I sent him that Flight Streak trainer that got me to send him that Flight Streak trainer. Go, Sam, go! He was only about that tall. He's a little kid.
He wasn't even 4 years old. He was 3 years and 9 months old. He wasn't even 4 yet. And he was flying a 049 platter while trying anyway.
I seen him make about 10 laps.
Yeah, he did pretty good. I gotta say, he started early and he's excelled. And he works hard. He practices, he works hard. He wrecks a lot of stuff, you know, but I don't care. I'll build him 100 airplanes if I have to.
Well, that's why you got what you call those beater airplanes.
Yeah.
I have my nephew's out there wants to fly. I bring those beater airplanes out there and I let him fly. He says, I want to learn a new trick. I says, okay, let's try something new. And then,
No figure nine.
what's that?
No figure nines, yeah.
Yeah, no figure nines. No. And he's happy he's learned how to do a loop. And he learned how to take off and fly solo, land, do all that. And taught him how to walk the circles so he doesn't get as dizzy. And he got content with flying the whole flight. Now he's learning the loops. And now he said, next time we come out, we're going to learn some new tricks again. I says, okay.
How old is he?
My nephew's 15. But I've had him flying since he was a kid. I had a Gillows trainer for him, and I had him flying that. And he comes out once or twice a year. He's not too motivated. You know, the video games keep him more motivated than trying to keep him outdoors and flying.
Next
Like
year, girls, so you're done.
Yeah. Hey, I enjoy every minute of time I can have with him that he's interested in the hobby and says, I want to fly. I'll stop what I'm doing and say, let's go. And I'll bring out whole car full of airplanes and beater airplanes and say, let's learn how to fly. What do you want today?
Yeah. Once he figures out that girls aren't soft boys, he's all done.
The biggest beginner, guys, is that you have to teach them not to over control. They tend to stall the airplane.
Yeah.
Well, I told him, I says, he came out to our contest and he says, I want to fly. And I says, okay. And he says, I can take off by myself and I can fly. I says, okay. I says, go ahead and try it. I just sat back and let him do it. He flew. And then he says, I want to learn how to do a loop. And I says, okay, let's do that next time. So his next official flight, I went out there and I showed him how to do a loop. And he says, let's try to do 2 of them at a time. I says, okay, let's try to do that. So we were learning how to do a couple of them at a time. But yeah, he was stalling it because first one was good size. Second one got a little panic and tightened it up. He says, okay, we'll learn.
Ruben,
But if he passes them, I ain't worried about it. I got plenty of airplanes, and we'll take them back to the shop here and patch them back together and do it again.
Ruben, how old is he? I missed that part. You cut out when you were saying that.
Oh, my little nephew, I'm Steven. Ruben's my father. My little nephew's 15.
Oh, okay.
15, yeah.
He's 15. So yeah, he's in his high school years, and yeah, girls are going to come into play, and then his video games are going to go away too. But right now, it's video games all the time. It's either schoolwork, which his parents are really good on making sure he keeps up on his schoolwork, and if he's not doing that, then he's on his video games. Good kid. But I try, if he says, I want to go flying with you, Uncle Steve, by all means, let's go. I'm happy as can be. I'll teach him anything he wants. I got plenty of planes for him to learn how to fly on.
I'm going to cut out, guys. You guys have a good night.
All right, Sparky.
All right,
Have a
man.
good
Sparky,
weekend.
pleasure. Thank you.
Take it easy, Sparky.
See you next
Hey,
week.
Sparky, you sanding dope?
What?
Are you sanding dope?
No.
Oh, I see white on your t-shirt. I thought maybe that was that powdered from the dope.
Balsa wood.
Oh, okay.
All right, guys. Good night.
Yep.
All right. Good night.
See you,
Good night.
Sparky. Yeah, Steve, don't ever not take him if he wants to go fly. You know, I don't ever tell Sam no. If he says he wants to fly, even
Yeah.
if it's a day when we can't go to the field or to the RC field, I'll just bust some half-A shit out and we'll go fly in the backyard. You know,
That's hey. If it's a day I can't fly my airplanes and I can't, and the weather's crappy and it's windy or whatever, but he says he wants to go out and fly, I'll bring out a beat up ringmaster or something like that and teach him how to fly. I got plenty of airplanes that'll fly through the bad weather.
yeah.
Were you hiding out of the picture, Charles?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Hey,
Yeah,
Charles.
all we see is your toolbox. Don't hear nothing. I see you finally unmuted.
Well, I was drilling, so I don't want to disturb the conversation.
Oh, okay.
Well, and you missed my latest show and tell, and when I turned the transmitter off, it ran across the shop floor, man.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard
Oh,
that.
Yeah,
I didn't
gonna
see
run
it.
into that.
Yeah. Well, live and learn, you know. Live and learn.
I learned a lesson tonight. Don't turn
That's
the
right.
transmitter off when you got a throttled electric airplane.
Well, that's with any radio control. It's always plane off first, then transmitter.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter on an IC engine if it's not running, man.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you know how life is, Mike. You know, life gives you the test first and the lesson later, you know?
Yeah, no, I got it. Well, I'm going to have to. Actually, it's really good that happened here in the shop.
Yeah,
Now,
that is.
when I turn Sam loose with this thing, I'm going to have to tell him, don't turn the transmitter off because the airplane just might go and do what it wants to do. So
yeah,
better here in the shop.
Tell him plane first, transmitter second.
Yeah.
I was afraid it was going to roll into that propane heater he had going there.
Well, what'll happen is on a regular radio control airplane, if you got landing gear or whatever, and you shut your transmitter off, it may hit and retract your gears right then and there.
Oh yeah, it can retract the gears.
Yeah, it depends on what channel it hits. You know, it's one thing if it goes to full throttle or the flaps go weird for a second, but yeah, if it does the landing gear, now that thing's dropped down and you bent your landing gear or maybe broke a prop or whatever. Depends where the prop's at.
Did you see the airplane, Charles?
Say it again, Mike. I didn't hear it.
Did you see the airplane?
Yes, I saw the airplane.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Make sure
pretty cool.
I'm pretty
cool.
excited about it. We're excited to fly it, man. I mean,
It looks like it'd be a really good trainer. I mean, it looks like it's really durable, and like you said, it could probably do that. It should do the stunt pattern.
It's got a huge wing for the weight too. You said that thing had a 48-inch wing, didn't you?
48-inch wingspan. I mean, but the tips are only probably 5 inches. The root is maybe 9. It's a pretty long, narrow wing. Like I said, they're half-A combat cores. But it's 16 ounces with a 4-foot wingspan. It should fly pretty damn good.
That's battery up and everything?
That's all up, Steve. Everything.
Yeah, that's good.
16.1 ounces.
How much was the combat airplane? What did that weigh all up?
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to pull it down and weigh it.
I bet you that was pretty close to that.
Yeah, it might be.
Make sure you read those instructions on that radio because car radios, they usually have 2 modes of operation. You either have a electronic speed controller that is reversible, in which point the neutral point is the point where it stopped, and if you pull the trigger, it goes fast. If you push the trigger forward, it's gonna go backwards. And some other car electronic speed controllers have only one direction kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, in the forward motion is the brake.
Yeah. or the brake or reverse. Depends on what you have on the
Yeah, how you set it up or whatever.
But
Yeah.
if you set it up for one or the other, you might have that case scenario. So just read the
No.
instructions for the
No.
fail safe in particular.
Right. Yeah, I got to get the failsafe down, but it doesn't. It's just pull the trigger. It'll go. It'll speed up till you get max throttle. If you push the trigger away, it doesn't do anything.
Oh, okay.
It does not the motor, and it does not go in reverse.
All right. Yep.
But still, when you turn off your radio, the motor decided to start to spin, right?
It did. It did. So
Well,
I have
it means it has some kind of an automatic input in a fail-safe system within that receiver.
Okay. All right.
They usually default to something.
Okay. I'll take a look at that. But for sure, I know that if you push the trigger away from you, the motor doesn't do anything. It does not start reverse or anything like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's just squeeze and it goes faster. If you do go past the center point and push it away, the motor does not start.
Yeah,
But
I kind of being a car transmitter and being $22, I doubt if it even has a fail safe in it. It may, but
I don't know. Maybe it has something. It's what I usually do. Even if I think I know what it does and I know the radio and whatever, I still read the instructions usually.
Yeah.
And most of the time, you find something new, or you find out like, hey, I didn't know this guy can do that, or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I did read them so I could get it set up properly, but I got it set up so that it would go, and then I didn't read past that about turn the transmitter off.
Yeah.
So I read up to the point where when I squeezed the trigger, it throttled properly and it shut down, and it was going the right direction. So I read that far.
That's all you need to be able to fly.
That's all you need. And besides, Sam's going to have a handle and lines on it. So if he does turn the transmitter off, it'll just kind of drag through the grass and flip over probably.
Yeah.
So, Mike, did you fly your SV11?
SV22.
I mean, 22?
Well, you missed out on that part too. I just got my props and my pipe today.
Oh, okay.
Today I got a Christmas present from Randy Smith.
Fantastic.
We got two Stevens in here.
Yeah. Oh, there one left.
Yeah, one left. And I have the pipe for the 65. So I can have one ready to go tomorrow, and then it's just going to be waiting on weather, Charles.
Okay. All right, cool.
Yeah, it looks like you got a sweatshirt on. What, is it cold in California?
It's a little cold. I'm not sure what the temperature is. I don't know. It feels cold. It's probably only 60 degrees, but it feels cold to me.
Oh, that's cold enough if you're used to California weather.
Yeah, we had a beautiful day today. I could not ask for almost better stunt weather. It was overcast, but hardly any wind, and around 60 degrees or so. But it was fun. I put about 8 flights up today with my Vector, and did some trim flights, and had a couple of guys out there earlier with me. And then tomorrow's my birthday, and so we're gonna have kind of a small little fly-in.
Happy birthday!
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Yeah, I invited some friends out tomorrow, so we're going to be flying tomorrow. But be a combination of combat and stunt. I'm going to take out my combat wing as well as my Vector.
What airplane you working on now?
The Vector right now. The Vector. I worked. I swapped the motor. I remember I was having a problem with the motor.
Yeah.
So instead of fooling around with Ventura, I just put the other motor back in there today and went out and flew it. And I'm just so busy between working on cars, homeschooling our kids, the holiday season.
Oh,
and
you said you were using the drill press, so I figured you were building something out there.
Yeah, I was just taking something apart. It was just in my way, and I just thought, let me get this thing up and get out of here. My garage is like my office upstairs. Can barely walk through here.
Oh, okay.
So I got to get that straight because this is where my building table really should be. It's in the garage, but it's covered.
Oh, okay.
All kinds of stuff.
Looks like Terry Forbes has joined us on YouTube over there. Hi, Terry.
So, Steve, what wing is that you got there building?
This one here I have is my new Patriot.
All right, Steve, you're making some progress.
Yeah, I got this, and
What's in them bays? Is that for landing gear?
yeah, the way this is designed was this is a Jerry Phelps design RSM kit.
Yeah.
And when I got into this, I said I was gonna start building the wing, but I had to figure out how to make the wing jig. And I was curious. I wanted to do a leading edge, trailing edge type jig and set it into it, but I couldn't figure it out because of the way the trailing edge is designed in these ribs. So I used the rods, and I got the 3/16 rods and stuck them into here and jigged that down. I made my own homemade jig, landing that down onto the building table that I have a nice piece of straight granite, and I made the wing straight. And I came out really straight. Actually, I was pretty impressed with the.
What are them placed for in between the ribs?
Okay. So in between the ribs here, this is for the land, and actually they were full. They were full plywood. The holes weren't in there, and when I weighed them, they were about 2.5 ounces. So it was a lot of weight, and I drilled it out as much as I possibly could. And what I did here then was I was concerned with, because it's designed on this wing that the landing gear is built in and mounted inside the wing. So you really can't, once you do that and you sheet over it and you're done, it's locked in and you can't get at it if you need to bend it or make access for it. So I wasn't happy with that design. So I came up with.
So that's a tricycle gear airplane then?
Yeah, it's a tri-gear.
Okay.
It's a tri-gear. So what happens with that, give me a second here, let me get this out.
I got to step up and stretch for a minute. Y'all holler.
All right.
For anything.
Okay. So what they want you to do is the wing sits so far back and it sits into here. But I'm thinking, okay, it's inside the wing. Now, if I ever bent the gear and had to re-bend it again, you'll end up busting the wing apart or break it. You could bend the wing and break the wing trying to bend it straight again. So it's easier to find a way. I wanted it to be removable somehow. So what I did, if you see on this side here, I left this one in, but I made this set up so this goes, and you can mount the gear into here. And I made these pocket doors that sit into here.
Oh, bolt down.
And they bolt down, and I got these nice pocket doors that sit into there, so I can always, if I have to, remove the gear. And they wanted you to put this in with J bolts, with these small little J hooks, and mount it down into that. And I says, yeah, that works, but that's kind of weak on that end. As an electrician, I'm more fond with wire clamps.
Oh,
So you got the wire clamps that are exactly that size. You can see these here. Yeah, I got wire clamps for it. And that's exactly what I'm using now. And I bolt them down and hold the gear right down in place.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I got 5 wheels that hold it down, lock it right in place. But I can also, if I ever have to take the gear out, I can get the gear out and not break the covering of the airplane. It's not designed to have this. So that's why I put it in there.
Cool. Yeah, that'll work good.
You know what? That sounds like an awful lot of weight to put that landing gear like that. What I would do is like what I do in my tail wheels. In my tail wheels, I bend the wire something like that. I just bend it like that, and inside the fuselage, I have a block of. I put in a block like that. So on one side, I just put a little piece of plywood of this shape, and on the other side, I put more plywood like that, and the tail will just snaps in. And if you need to bend it or anything like that, you just pull it out, you remove it, you bend your wire, you just plug it back in.
Well, this is a tri-gear.
I know, but you can do the same thing on a rib. This thing applies on a rib as well. And it's
Well,
a lot
let me
less
show you here.
material than what you have over there.
Well, then look at how it is here from the top view. This is just a piece of plywood that sits in here and braces in from the spar to the back trailing edge spar. And it's only from the center spar to the back trailing edge, which is just one piece of plywood sitting in there. And I drilled hell out of it, making a whole bunch of holes to take all the weight out of it. I got these things down to almost nothing now. Where I was sitting almost 3 ounces, now I'm at about, I took almost 1.5 ounces out of them.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah.
And first, when I first took them out of the kit, I took them out of the box, and these things weighed about 3 ounces. I said it's too damn much. I drilled the hell out of them to get them to about 1.5 ounces and sanded them even thinner, and made that issue to that because I knew I was going to put the blind nuts in there to hold the gear in place.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a lot easier, and you definitely want to be able to get at the gear.
Why don't you make this why don't you make something similar like what pretty much everybody does on a landing gear that's in the main part of the wing, right?
With landing gear blocks, right?
Yeah, it's
Making landing gear
the
blocks.
exact same construction that you do on a wing with you put a little plate of plywood over there that stays sitting between the ribs, and you get the wire like a Z band, and you put a piece of plywood on opposite direction, so you lock it in so it doesn't break through. And
okay,
and with your covers and all the stuff, that's all that would require just maybe a stiffer rib.
Let me explain that to you, and the reason why for that. The way this is designed, what you're saying is you do it like you do on a conventional wing, and you put it into the wing when it's into the wing. So what you're going to have basically is a gear block sitting this far up, which is right up against your spar. Yes. Right where your sheeting is, it's right up into the spar, and you're mounting it up against the spar. So you got the strength of the spar actually holding and giving you reinforcement to hold the gear block in there. You don't have that in this. What? Yeah, you don't have that in this design because the gear sits down back towards the trailing edge. Where the gear is in this wing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't understand why they went so far back with the.
They went so far on.
I don't get it either.
All the way back towards, it sits all the way back at the trailing edge.
Wow. So that's a horrible position.
It's not all the way up. So if you had it the opposite way around, let's say we turn this gear around, and if we sat up here and I had it up against the spar, what you're saying makes sense. Then you cut it into there. You put a landing gear block in there. You make a Z bend with a 90 and a Z bend. And you got the gear sitting all the way up there. That makes sense to do a block that way. But they did not design this way. They designed it that the gear sits so far back. So it's sitting this far back. You have to come up with something of that nature.
Yeah, that's why I don't understand why they said.
I'm not going to make in the center of the ribs. I have nothing to support it. I have the spar up front here that would hold the landing gear block. Back here, there is no spar to hold the landing gear block. You're just against the ribs. As soon as you hit and you land, you're going to tear the bottom of the wing apart. So I'm not. You're not.
What? Yeah.
Okay. This way here, I created the support straps.
The problem.
That's why you do
that. Position, I have a bigger problem than with the position of the landing gear itself. I mean, you should have the wheels. I think no more than perhaps 25 degrees backwards from the CG. Even that's excessive. Because when you want to rotate the plane for the
it's going to rotate like hell trying to pop that nose up off the ground.
With the landing gear so far back, it's going to want to jump out of the ground. The more neutral the landing gear is in relationship to the CG, that the easier the rotation is going to take place, and you have a nice smoother takeoff. But as you move it backwards, man, you have to rotate the bejesus out of it. You'll never have a.
No, you're going to lower it. Because when you're doing this here and when you're taking this back here, you're actually lowering your nose gear when this sits on being a tri-gear. You're lowering your nose gear, and that's what's giving you your drive stability, so it actually will roll straight.
You roll straight anyways. You have the cables through the wing. I mean, that's not an issue at all.
Is the nose gear right back at the wing?
No. No,
Is that the motor?
more at the motor, right?
Okay, so it's like on an RC airplane then. I can see maybe if they put the nose gear back up against the wing and had it balanced there. And
it's a little bit further back than like where my Shark was. When I had my Shark was right up against the Shark 45. It was right up against the motor, right past the motor. You had the motor mount, you had the nose gear. This one sits a little bit further back to that point. I mean, I'm not going to redesign the way they designed it. Plenty of people have built this airplane, and it works well to that. I like the design of it because it's similar to the FS.
Okay.
That's what got me into liking this airplane a lot. But yeah, they set it back here, and that's where they wanted set. The only thing I didn't like was when they bent them. When they bent the gear, so I had to take the gear and re-bend the gear and get it finally 90 up and 90 straight.
Okay.
They weren't bent as great as I wanted. So I got it finally. That's my project I worked on today. I was actually working on these gears too and bending them straight, 90 them up. I worked on it a bit last night into today and 90 them up and 90 them straight.
Yeah, the only other reason I can think they did it that way was to keep the landing gear out of the wires, the control wires.
Right. Sure. Because the other problem I have with that, you're exactly right. Okay. Let's go to this side of the wing here. I got this one here. Okay. If I take this out, and the way this actually angles and the way this sits on that gearbox out there, it keeps it away from the wire. Right here, right when you get above the front of this spar, I got my front lead out. My front lead out from here is actually the throw that's coming right up above the front of the spar. Because you cut the half ribs that you have all up in here, you cut them out all up against the spar. And I got each rib even cut out up against the spar there to get the clearance because that's where your lead out wires are. Now I gave it the extra clearance because I want to make sure I can go all the way forward or have all the way clearance back. I give myself that adjustment right off the bat on the building of it. But you need that clearance because of the type of spar this is. It's not a two-piece spar where you have a quarter-inch spar on the top, quarter-inch on the back to that point. This is a full-piece spar.
Oh, okay.
If you can see that. See if I can give you a better look here.
Yeah.
It's a full-piece spar.
Yeah. Instead of putting in webbing,
where they're not, the spar is notched and you lock, and that's where you lock your ribs into, your main ribs into when you're building the rib, when you start to build a wing on the jig.
I've got a half A plane with a spar like that.
My father's Hurricane Palmer is like this. It's set up like this too. It was set up, and it had a full spar to it. And you slide the ribs into it.
Yeah, mine's a baby flight streak, if I remember right. That's the kind of spar it's got.
Now it wasn't designed. This spar wasn't designed with these center holes in the center of the thing. I drilled all of those into there and made these center holes as well, so that I can take some weight out of it, as well as when I did the sheeting. They want you to make this a three-piece sheeting where you got the center spar, your front spar that you want to be in there when you do a half sheeting and a half sheeting. I did not do that on this. This is a one-piece leading edge.
Oh, okay.
I took a piece of 4-inch, I took a piece of 4-inch and a piece of 3-inch and seamed them together, then put them in with ammonia and water, soaked it, and wrapped it around the foam molding that I have for that and made it a one-piece leading edge. So you get a nice straight with no waves, and you don't have to worry about trying to sand that whole front. The airfoil is a complete, nice, even airfoil.
Oh, okay, cool.
Hey,
Yeah,
Steven,
I think we need that leading edge piece of balsa wood on a leading edge. If you have the sheeting done like that, molded. I mean,
you need a piece of molding. I got a small piece of square quarter.
Yeah, the smallest piece you can find, 8-inch.
Yeah, you just set that in there. That's a guide. You just set that into there, and then you shave it down so you don't have the edge.
Yeah.
And then you make your one piece leading edge, and you glue that into place around it.
Yeah.
And the reason I got these holes into here as well was as I got done with that, and I got myself tacked in place, and I had everything locked in. Now, you don't want to go into this and start. You're going to find you're going to have some high and some low spots. You don't want to be squeezing into it because then you're going to get a wave. That's why I got the holes into here so I can actually drop the glue into it and run it into the seams where each half rib was and lock the half ribs into place.
Yeah.
I spoke to Jerry Phelps.
Time consuming. You got to take. I did a little piece at a time with it, and it was time consuming.
Hey Steve, have you talked to Jerry Phelps? Is he still alive?
I haven't talked to him.
Yeah,
no.
he's still alive.
He's still alive, though. I haven't talked to him.
And then Lou Walgas is a real nice Patriot.
Oh, this is really nice.
Yeah,
that's what actually got it. That's what actually got it was when I saw his and how his looks and so how it flies, and I liked it a lot. And I says, I need a new classic airplane. And then when I lost my Shark, I was itching to want to build a new classic airplane. You know, I lost the Shark. I said I wanted one, and I saw his, and I says, that's the plane I want to build. And I really liked it because he had the same similarities. He says it's just like building the FS. It looks so similar to the FS, which is a great flying airplane. And this where this came out of when they kitted this and made it. So,
Mike, are you trying to teach the cat how to fly too, or build?
Talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, did you see the kitty cat earlier?
Yeah, so it looked like it was rubbing on an airplane or something. I'm like, wow, he's even getting his cat into flying.
Yeah, I was just messing around. I was listening to the conversation. I thought I'd just shoot video of my cat for a while, just to mess with you guys. That's all.
It's cute.
The important thing I had to worry about with this one was how to set up the jig.
Yeah. So, Rusty, you feeling better every day with your leg?
Yeah, I want to. Actually, Rusty, I've been meaning to ask you too. How are you, man? How's the comeback from the surgery? Are you doing good?
Well, yeah. Last week I was reporting I feel better than I've felt in a long, long time. You know, back before the first break and everything, but I've been turning up the PT and all, so I'm sore now, but no unusual pains or anything. This has been a much more pain-free experience, and I think I'm healing up quick. They're taking me slower than most patients, so it's going to be another few weeks before he lets me put full weight on that leg, but I think I'm just going to be able to take off walking when it's time.
So what do they just have you doing? Just laying on your back and lifting your legs and getting movement that way?
Nothing like that. Hip therapy is almost nothing but child's play. It's just some muscle stretches and a few exercises. Most of them can be done sitting down or laying down.
Oh, okay.
And it's only 3 or 4 of them a couple of times a day.
But you're already saying you feel better now than you did after the last one.
Oh, way better. Yeah.
So you're going to be back on the circle in Huntersville in May, right?
I'm thinking so. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
Steve.
Yeah.
Hey, you and the rest of the guys from the East Coast. It'd be nice when you go on there for people who we lost on. That's the stated on the Stunthangar on the open forum.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple nice words so everybody can mention about Bob Lampione.
He died?
He just passed away last night at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I'm sorry to hear that.
Last night?
He passed away last night at 10 o'clock.
Holy shit. I didn't know nothing about it.
Lampione. He was in Flushing's hospital last I heard, and he wasn't doing too well.
Oh,
and
yeah.
First one.
Sorry to
What's
hear.
that?
Did he have cancer?
I don't know what his health issues were to that point. I don't know exactly what happened. All of a sudden, it just got sprung up to me. So I heard Bob Hunt mentioned it, put up and say some prayers and do something for him for his him not feeling well and he being under the weather and going to hospice. And then I looked under and I saw Neil Beckman wrote quite a few words from him and a few other guys, Tim Westcott and a few other people that remembered him, wrote some things. And now I just heard, and I looked on it before we signed online tonight. I heard he passed away 10 o'clock last night. So be appreciative to see everybody, from what you remember of him, share some nice words in that open forum.
Yeah, I didn't see him this year, or this year at Brodak, but he usually went to Brodak and stuff.
I don't think he was feeling well already at that time, I guess. But they said he had him in Flushing's hospice. So from that point on, you know,
didn't he have a heart attack in like the Lincoln Tunnel or something like that? And
something like that. He's no.
They just couldn't believe that they saved him or whatever. Ambulance couldn't get to him, or
he was an enjoyable man and always ran an enjoyable, great contest. You ever been to Flushing?
No.
No, he ran a great contest out there
Well,
on
I'm
Flushing
sure,
Meadows Park.
Well, it's like
Rusty, I'm sure that Tom Lucanio and Al Ferraro know him well. They're all East Coast
Oh,
guys.
definitely they do.
And when you announce him,
Definitely Al Ferraro and then we'll definitely know him.
Tom or Al haven't been on here in a while, have they, Rusty?
No, I hadn't seen him lately. I was wondering about him too. Either one. Tom's only been on a couple of times, but
they go out Al Ferraro, so he used to meet them and go out and always see them out by Middlesex.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
But
Yeah,
all the
he'd be a regular around here. He still comes once in a while.
Yeah, all the East Coast guys know each other, you know.
That was the fun thing. Everybody knew everybody out there.
All the Midwest guys know each other, you know. All the Florida guys know each other. All the West Coast guys know each other.
The New Jersey guys know the Philly guys really well too.
Yeah.
Anyone know how old Bob was?
Oh, good question. He was in his 80s.
Okay.
Exact age, I don't know.
What was Lampion's airplane?
United.
Oh yeah,
United. When he designed was United.
My brother actually has Bob's United.
Oh, you look at him. He made some really, really pretty finishes. Some of his airplanes you looked at, he had some weight to him and stuff, but he really put his heart into his finishes, and he made some really pretty airplanes. Really fun-loving guy, great supporter to the hobby, always a helping hand. And he came out to his events. He came out and supported yours. I mean, he knew everything was all the characteristics of the hobby, and showing, you know, always a helping hand.
Yeah, my brother was going to give that to the AMA museum, but they wouldn't guarantee they'd hang it up or anything. That they rotate stuff out or whatever. And I told them, I said, well, take it back and they won't. I know now they'll put it up at the Brodak Museum, hang it in there. I mean, that's a Nats winning airplane. I don't think flew at the World Championships or not. But yeah, my brother has that airplane. So,
wow.
Did your brother fly, Steve? Still now?
He didn't fly at all this year. He's flying speed. But
where does your brother live? Is he in Michigan with you?
Yeah.
Is he in Grand Rapids or
Wyoming? Yeah, Grand Rapids.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, south, a little bit south. Actually, Wyoming butts up to Grand Rapids. It's the next town south of Grand Rapids.
Yeah, I know it. I know it.
Yeah, I mean, when I grew up in Wyoming and stuff, so you call somebody and have them ship something, and they'd ask you, you know, city and state, say Wyoming, Michigan.
Yeah.
They're like, now, where do you live, Wyoming or in Michigan?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, he has that. I think, is it Kenny Stevens? I forget. He's got some, well, that other airplane that he's got with that PA-61 and stuff in it. He, that's been, I don't know, flown at the Nats. I forget. The guy was a good builder, good pilot, but yeah, he buys stuff like that and keep it. You know, he keeps it. So
Yeah, he ended up with that plane at, well, you bought it at Brodax off of Mark Weiss. I should have bought that damn thing.
oh, Dick's got that one.
Oh, Dick has it.
Yeah, he'd probably sell it to you.
I thought you said your brother had that airplane.
No, Dick's got that one.
The one that Mark Weiss had for sale. It was
Yep.
$150 for a PA-75.
Yeah, or a 61. No, I think that was for a 61 in that, I believe. Maybe it was for a 75. I'm not sure, but Dick has it.
It was a 75. That's why I didn't buy it last year, because I asked. And I asked someone, I said, how much is a 75? And they went, well, it's $500 plus all the others that go with it. So I passed on it. But the airplane was beautiful. It was a gorgeous plane for just $150.
I put a Enya 61 in it, Pipe 61. And it was just too heavy for Samantha. And then Dick got it. And I think he has a 61 Stalker in it. Other thing, they all bolt right in. I mean,
so Dick has that airplane. You told me you sold that airplane to your brother at one point.
No, sold it to Dick.
Dick has that plane.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to be making a phone call to Dick then, because I got a brand new 75 here at the house.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I should have bought that airplane then. I didn't have room to put it in my truck to come home from Brodax, so I didn't buy it. And
yeah, neither did we. We ended up having to take landing gear off of all the other planes and put blankets in. It was hell getting that thing home.
Well, had I known what I know now, I would have strapped 10 combat planes to the hood of the truck to get that airplane in my truck. You know, I would have duct taped them to the hood or whatever to get that airplane home. I wish I would have bought it because it was beautiful. I didn't know Dick had it. I thought you had it. I thought that was our last conversation. That airplane.
No, Dick's got that one.
Went to you and then went to your brother.
He's flown it. I've never seen him fly it.
Okay.
So he does it. He says he's flown it, but I've never seen it fly.
Now
he doesn't fly it very often. Huh?
Does Dick have a brother that flies model airplanes?
No, his nephew.
His nephew. Okay.
Yeah, Pat won.
Yeah.
Last year he won beginner, and then this year he flew in intermediate.
That's right. Yep, I met Pat. Yep.
Yeah, he's the one who has he's the one who put the field in for us, so Samantha could fly because we kept losing fields, and he's got 5 acres there. So one day he just went out and mowed the whole back 3 acres, and that's our flying field.
Hey, Steve, that wing's got a warp in it, Steven. I can see it from here.
Yeah,
it's got a warp in it. It's got some washout. I can see it from here on my phone, man. About 2 degrees.
You're not looking with your good eye. You're not looking with your good eye.
I got both my good eyes on, man.
I don't think so. Yeah.
I have to be careful with my glasses because they'll give you the illusion of a warp when there's not one there.
Rusty, I'm just messing around, dude.
I know you are.
I know it is. I know you see me looking at it. I have been so conscious on this whole wing and this whole wing project on keeping that tight, keeping it straight, working with it, and I had to strap it down, which I'm going to do yet. I'll be working every way that I make sure I keep this wing straight.
That's good. Hey guys, it's midnight. I'm out of here. I gotta get up early in the morning and
9 o'clock. Yeah.
Same here. Good night, guys.
Happy birthday, Charles.
Hey, thanks, man.
It really is your birthday now.
Yeah, it really is back where you're at.
Hey,
Yeah,
Charles,
happy birthday.
bye.
Oh, that's right. You're still a year younger where you're at, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm still 60 where I'm at.
What time of day were you born?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
born tonight, but not last night.
Tryon, I'm hoping to have a flight report for you next week, at least on one.
You better have one by Monday. Damn it!
Yeah, I want to hear about this SV22. Excuse me. Yeah.
It's been pissing down rain for 3 days, and it ain't gonna stop anytime soon. But
Oh, I thought it was supposed to
You got
stop.
two of them, right, Mike? Mike, you got two of
I get a
them,
chance
right?
to fly him, I'm gonna fly it. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Nope,
raining
don't,
like shit here too. My shop's full of water now.
when you fly it for the first time, take it easy. Just get used to it and get to learn the plane.
Oh bullshit! I'm a combat guy. I'm gonna fly it like I stole it.
Screw
Oh,
that.
shit.
Don't do that.
My first reverse wing over is gonna be like 2 feet off the deck, dog. Okay.
Very good,
You know
man.
what I would do, Mike? Since you have them
2
two
feet
planes,
is-
I'd put streamers on there and go up with Sam and see what them planes will really do.
Yeah, that's. Hey, I'm all about it, man. I'm not scared though. Trying about pulling out low, and I'm not gonna wreck the airplane. I think they're gonna fly well, and they'll be. I'm plenty capable of flying them. I just think.
Yeah, you are.
It's gonna be.
Do
nice-
whatever is
Wait,
comfortable for you.
It's gonna be nice to.
What do
fly
they weigh
something
at?
that flies good, you know.
I'd short tank though, just for the reason if the damn things are flying like 4 or 5 laps or whatever, you know, until you get the pipe and the needle set right and all that.
Well, they're Nelsons, man. You know, they're Nelson engines. I've
Yeah.
flied
So what?
Nelsons
PhD
fast.
supplies?
Yeah,
You
sure.
can still mess it up.
Yeah, you still can. It's like with that first time we flew that Inya on there. I thought I had that set right. And that thing was doing like 4 or 5 laps and about pulling some. She's flying it with 2 hands. 70 some ounce airplane just stretching her arms out. I'm like, well, we need to slow the RPMs down on that a little bit.
If I had to put a fast unknown plane in anybody's hands, I'd put it in Mike's hands.
Well, I know he can fly fast. It's just I'm saying is that, you know, there ain't no. You might as well short tank a little bit. That way you can set all your lap times and
You're right. Yeah,
get
no
all that
point
in.
filling it up all the way so you know where the needle is and getting the lap times down.
Yeah, because I mean, the first few times you fly the airplane, I mean, it's gonna be off 200 RPMs or whatever, you know, to where, you know, especially if you're a little slow, that kind of sucks. I'd like to be a little bit faster. And you go out there, you're doing 6-second laps, and now you're just flying it out because you ain't gonna do nothing.
Well, for him, it's a matter of getting the brand new motor to run correctly. First of all, second of all, the props he's got from Randy Smith. They may say they are whatever pitch they are, but they are probably not. They're gonna fly fast from right out of the box. You might find yourself to have to return home and repitch those props, change the pitch on them.
Oh my God, I'm not repitching props, man.
You have to. That's one.
Yeah, that's the thing with the pipe motor and all that. That's why we went to electric with Samantha. It's a real pain. I mean, to get that motor perfect, you got to pitch them props and stuff. And it's so much easier just to go into that little box and go tick, 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 and knock down 200 RPM. And
yeah.
Well, go to route I went with, like I did, Steve. And
what's that?
Go to route I went with it. I mean, he's running a 3-bladed prop. If he's finding he's soft on power, he's having issues with that until he finds his right pitch. Switch back to a 2-bladed prop until you find your pitch and you find your power consumption. Then you can go back and repitch it and work a 3-blade.
It's all a matter of having the proper load for the motor.
Yeah.
Like it's just that's all there is to it. The prop diameter is going to give you the load on the motor. Then you have to mess with the pitch to get your speed.
Yeah.
Because you want to keep the motor where Randy told you to keep it at this RPM, launch in this RPM, attack it to whatever RPM, right? But you do not change that. You change the pitch on a prop to speed or slow down.
I understand all that, man. You don't.
I run a pipe motor. I run a pipe motor with a 2-blade. I run a pipe motor. It's the K77. I run now with a 2-blade.
And that's fine. you can either run a 3-blade with a smaller diameter or a 2-blade with a bigger diameter. It's the same load.
Yeah, I get all
that's
that.
fine. I'm running their width and I'm running exactly the RPMs they're saying to go. You got to give it to, they say 85 to 9,900 RPMs. I'm running 8,700 RPMs.
And it's starting to sound like a Chinese fire drill in here.
Whose dog is that?
That's Steve.
Oh, that's mine. Andy, shut up.
Shut that mud up, man.
Samantha
I
just
think the dog is saying no, a 4-blade prop. He just wants to put his 2 bits in.
Yeah, Samantha just
Charles,
came home
man,
from
if it's
college
flying
tonight.
slow, if it's just flying too slow, Charles, I'm just gonna buy slob the SV22.
Oh,
I'm gonna hover it. I'll just hover it, and I'll
I'm
do
sure you
some
will.
insides and outsides on a quick diameter. You know, just real small.
But
I'll just buy slob it.
you know, it's like
I think it's going to be working out well, but you have a plane that's already a tested test bed. I mean, you're putting the engine that was already in there back in there.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's a little bit too fast, a little bit too slow, it's still going to be all good. It's probably going to balance out just perfect.
It'll be way close enough that I'm not going to have to split hairs on it.
Yeah, I don't think so. It's probably going to be the best plane you've ever flown in your life. I mean, as far as stunt.
I think everything's going to be way close enough that, you know, I'm not going to have to be repitching props. Because you know what, Tryon? I don't know enough about real good stunt planes that's going to make a difference to me. Because I don't know the difference, if that makes sense to anybody.
Hey,
oh, that makes perfect sense to me.
I'll be on your side with that. I don't know how to pitch a prop. I get them the way they are, and that's what I work with and so forth. I don't have a pitch gauge and know how to pitch a prop.
Right. I mean, that's what I'm getting at. Changing the pitch up one or down one, to me, at my flying level now, I wouldn't notice a difference.
You'll notice it in speed. To me, when I fly, if I fly a 5.3 lap time versus a 5.5 lap time, to me that's huge. I mean, it's a very distinct and clear difference.
That's like the Grand Canyon to me. To you, that's a very narrow window. Mm-hmm. To someone like me, that's a huge margin.
That's how it feels to me. If I fly 5.3, I feel like I'm flying way too fast.
I understand.
If I fly 5.5, it's perfect. You know,
that's you. But to someone like me, that 0.3 seconds isn't going to mean squat to me.
I understand what you're saying. I mean, there's a big difference when you're going 4.8 seconds and 5.3. I can tell the difference between 5 seconds, and I like 5.2, 5.3. At 5, when I'm at 5 seconds is variable. 4.8, I know that I'm pushing it. It's moving.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. Brian, I get it. A guy like you'll notice that. To me, that's the difference, like flying fast combat, between 126 and 129. Mm-hmm. I'm not noticing that 3 miles an hour of difference.
I see.
You notice that 0.3 seconds in stunt. I mean, I'll figure that out later. I'll get there.
Oh, of course, yeah.
No problem.
For starting,
you know, Mike, are you going to have an assortment of line lengths out there with you?
Yeah, I can make a run, so I'll make like 65.
Now you're breaking up.
Well, guys, I'm out of here. I was talking with Samantha, so she's back from her dorm and all that kind of good stuff.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Good night, Steve.
Night.
See you next week.
Take it easy.
Actually,
yeah.
Charles, I'm glad you brought that up. I can make whatever I need. I can go from 60 to 65. I mean, what do you think?
I would take out a set, like maybe, like if you can do 4 different length lines in the ballpark. And Randy's going to tell you the RPM and the line length. Have that, and then just have one a foot longer and a foot shorter. And you can do that.
What's the plane weigh?
What's
the plane weigh?
I can't tell you that with the engine and the pipe in it. I can tell you what they are without engines and pipes. One is 44 ounces. One is 50 ounces.
Okay.
Without an engine and a pipe. So
probably a 20-ounce power system.
Yeah, 44. And he's going to put
20.
17. He's about 61. You said 144?
That's
You
very
said
good.
144, right? And you're running a PA.
4-ounce.
And then you gotta put the motor in it and the pipe in it.
Hold on, Stephen. Let me finish. 4 ounces, 61. The one that's 50 ounces is going to have a 65.
65. Not much difference in that, but that's.
Yeah, the airplanes are 6 ounces different. So you think the power plant, prop, and pipe is 20 ounces, Charles? All up?
Just in general.
They're around 20.
Okay, so we're 64 ounces and 70 ounces on the 2 airplanes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I think you're gonna be happy with it regardless.
Yeah.
Just
watch with a set of lines and different sets, and then just
another 65 ounces. So, and with that set of that power plant that you're running with that, you make yourself a set of 64s, 65s, and 66s, and try them out and see what you get your best lap on the speed.
Father with 60-foot lines. I should start at 64.
Try at 64s. If you run that big of a ship, start at 60. 60-foot lines. You're wasting. You're going to find yourself really wasting your time. Go to 64s, right, and start there, and see what you get on your lap time. See if I can go 65 and 66.
Tryon, what's your advice on that? What are you thinking on line length?
Probably go at least 67, 68, center of the handle to center of the plane.
Holy shit, 67, 68?
No, he's saying from center handle to center
it's a
plane,
big plane.
Mike.
Plane.
That still might be 64, 65-foot lines he's talking about.
Yeah, I'm talking about islet to islet. Islet to islet, 65-foot line. 64-foot line, islet to islet, 65-foot islet to islet.
Okay.
Yeah. Islet to islet. 64 islet to islet, 65 islet to islet.
Plus,
that's what I was.
We're still at 67 or 67.
Then you're gonna be at 67, 68, the center of the airplane.
Yes. Understood. I got it now. Okay.
That's where you're gonna be at. That's a good sign. But islet to islet, 64s or 65s, you're gonna bring yourself about 67, 68 center of the airplane. That's where you want to start and figure out your lap time and get yourself in your comfort zone. Then you start trimming it from there.
Holy shit! I never made a set of lines that long in my life, man.
That's because you
fly that size and you fly with 60-foot lines. You're wasting your time. You're gonna find yourself all uncomfortable and say too many things are screwed up, and it's really not. You're just out of whack.
Well, I actually think because of Mike Wonky's experience, you should start off with just a little bit shorter line and then just lengthen it as he feels comfortable. That's what I would say.
What do you want to fly with? You really release the knob?
It's got plenty
of power. It's too fast for him. That's no big deal for Mike. He's used to fast planes.
It's not. I fly Nelsons at 130 miles
exactly. An hour. So I'll go with the shorter one and then go up, as you want to slow the plane down, because you're going to fly level and your first lap and, just do some stuff, kind of fill the plane out. You're not going to do this full stunt pad on your first flight.
Well, think about this. You can always shorten up the lines. It's kind of hard to make them longer.
Yeah, but I think for Mike Long, with his experience, uneventful flights to have long lines.
Yeah.
Well, he says he can make up a couple sets. You make up a couple sets. I get them made up already that way. I got sets of 64, 65s, and 66s. I get them made straight up, islet to islet from Tom Morris. And then I go out there and I work with them.
18 braided here, man, for making fast combat lines. So making lines isn't an issue.
Oh, that's cool. But I make my own lines too by Mike. Matter of fact, for a Christmas gift, I'm actually going to get Tom Morris's line wrapping set. That not the set, but the
jig.
Yes, I made my own jig, and I just I had my wife's friend wanted to know what I wanted for Christmas, and I just said, well, I'll take that. So I just got the stuff from my wife today, so I'm looking forward to that. I've been looking for somebody to send this
exactly. To, are you getting that?
I'm getting that, yeah.
So that's it.
This was the trophy at Huntersville.
Oh, that's cool.
2016. Samuel won this, and there's the Metrolina Control Line Society.
Oh, that is super cool.
Was the
So
35th anniversary of the club. So they buy prizes for everyone. And what they did in 2016 was anyone that came in first place in stunt got a Tom Morris line wrapping jig, and they turned it into a trophy.
Oh, that is super cool. I love that.
That's a great idea.
Carolina gang. Yeah.
Something you're going to use.
I'm sorry?
That's a great trophy. I mean, it's got its memorabilia to it and everything, and something you'll use.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great club we got.
That ain't mine. That's my 10-year-old's because he was 8 when he won it. My 8-year-old won that.
Wow.
Beginner.
That is sweet.
Very nice. Very, very nice.
I've never bought one because I'm always thinking I could use that money for something else I really need as far as this hobby goes, you know? I wrap my lines with a combination of a vise and a fishing line, but fly fishing gear. I got some fly fishing gear that I use.
Yeah, you got your
like I have this here to hold. So I have the vise on one end, and then I clamp it with this fly fishing clamp, and then I have a another fly fishing apparatus to put the to wrap with. But it's kind of a it's not the most not the best setup. So I'm looking forward to the jig.
The jig works great.
Oh, you have one?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna have one. I'm gonna have one.
I use it, but I do that when I have to. When I got to cut. I take certain lines, and if they get a little worn out or whatever, at that point I want to cut them shorter. So when they cut them down, I wrap them. I got some wire roll, so if I need to make a different set, and I cut them and I wrap them.
Yeah, I mean, I make lines for people.
Pain in the ass though. Pain in the ass though to do that. It's so much easier for $20. You get a set right from Tom Morris, already professionally wrapped, and they're nice and tight. They're great.
Well, I know. But for me personally, just to save money, I buy like 1,000 feet of wire, and I get 5 sets. And so my cost per reel or set is a lot cheaper than the set you buy from Tom Morris. And mine are just as exact, if not better, than Tom Morris.
I wrap my own. I make my own. So but a lot of them all have, and I got them all set up. And majority of the time I get them from Tom Morris. When I get the spools or something like that, then I'll wrap up the set.
And you guys are all wrapping?
I'm not buying 60-foot lines. I wrap the 60-foot lines.
You're all wrapping?
I wrap.
Crimping? Is anybody crimping?
Not me.
No, I wrap mine.
No.
Yeah, I wrap.
Let's talk about crimping.
You don't put it on bullet things. You crimp it.
Charles, what's your opinion?
Well, I mean, all I know is wrapping. So I know it takes a special swag tool to crimp correctly and all that stuff. And so I just wrap.
I crimp
wrap. If you like your airplane, wrap it. Wrap them tight and wrap them.
Yeah.
You're going to do that crimping, you're going to lose the crimp and lose the plane. Forget, no way. I've seen too many crimps break loose.
You'll lose an airplane because they'll break, right?
Well, yeah, do not do the crimping. It's not worth it thinking I'm just going to crimp it and I'm done real quick. Pain in the ass to bend that shit and crimp it down. Okay. Wrap them.
All right.
This is what I do on mine. This is what I do on mine. Let me see if I can do that. Okay, here you go. What I do on mine is I go like this around the eyelet, right? I'm coming back out, right? So then I'm starting to wrap here. Just go in that direction. Then you take this end and you fold it back in over, and you wrap it backwards in this direction.
Right.
I know the difference.
Right.
Wrapping.
That's for the game.
What I do after that, I bought this from McMaster Car. It's a shrink tubing, and I have a little bit of a piece cut out that's sitting while I'm doing the wrapping. When I'm done with it, I just slide this over and heat it up with a heat gun, and it shrinks down and holds everything in position. So you don't have.
I do that on the lead outs. I do that on the lead outs when I wrap the lead outs.
Okay.
I do them on both. I do them on both, and I do them like that. I have a red, and I have a green one. So this is the green one, but I also have a red one. So the same, I do the same thing on my lead outs as well. Okay. So I have a lead outs. One is red, one is green. So green to green, red to red. It's very easy to put them in.
Right.
I wanted the opinion from stunt guys on crimps versus wrapping. I understand both. I use both, but
don't bother doing crimping. You're not flying little twisters and ringmasters.
Hold on, Steven. Yep. I fly Nelson 36s on my fast combat planes for the last 5 years. I crimp my lines at the handle and at the eyelet for the lead outs. My planes fly 130 miles an hour. They pull way more than any stunt plane will ever pull. And I've never had a crimp fail on a fast combat plane at 130 miles an hour.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing that you have on a fast combat plane and you don't have it in stunt is the pull. And sometimes in stunt, if you have a little bit loose, those crimp guys, lead outs, they sometimes if they touch each other, they may lock it. They may lock over there and may snag each other.
I put heat shrink on them just like you do. I crimp my lines.
If you do that, it's fine. I don't see why not.
You want to do that and you feel safe with it.
I was just curious.
But you want to do it and you feel safe with it. I don't feel safe with it.
You guys
Some people stagger them.
Like PA stunt ships, and I wanted to know what you were using for lines, crimps versus wrapped. And I heard no crimps. They're gonna fail. That's what you were saying, Steven. If they can stand a Nelson 36 in fast combat at 130, I'm pretty sure my lines will hold up on a stunt ship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Never had a crimp fail. I've never had a crimp fail.
I've done it both ways. I've never had either one fail.
Yeah, I think they're both a viable way of doing it. If you look in the AMA magazine under the rules, how to wrap the lines, how to deal with the line ends, I think they show them both over there.
They do.
They show them.
I don't trust it.
To me, I think wrapping it's neater, it's more compact, it's with the shrink tubing on top of it, it looks neater, nicer.
Yeah, crimp is fast.
Fast. Well, I'm just saying, you asked our opinions of it, and my opinion was I don't trust it.
Okay.
I don't use it.
I respect that, and I'm just backing that up with my own experience flying planes that pull.
Well, you're flying in one speed, and speed is one direction as well too, and I understand that, but there's no light and stress as far as how your tension relates differently.
And here's my advice to you. Yeah, if your plane weighs less than 64 ounces, go to all 15 lines. It's fine. If it's over 64 ounces, go to that 018. When you fly a plane with 018s versus 015s, it's a huge difference.
Yeah, well, we need to get Spectra in there, man, so we can all start flying our stuff on Spectra.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, I agree.
I've heard a rumor that some local contests are going to start allowing Spectra in stunt with the CD's approval. I can't say where, but I've heard some rumors that Spectra is going to start to be allowed at some stunt contests. I'm very excited about that.
Yeah,
Those
That would be
Spectra
where flying
lines.
stunt with Spectra.
I never use them, so I don't know what they are.
We've been in combat for 10 years, man. They're great.
Do they
Combat.
Are they stretchy? Are they thin? What diameter are they?
They don't stretch any more than braided stainless of the same nominal diameter.
Okay.
They don't, and the breaking strength is actually higher than stainless.
Per diameter, yeah.
If you use the right termination and the right knot, they're actually stronger than stainless line of the same nominal diameter. They're great. There's no reason we shouldn't be using them in stunt.
Isn't the rule in okay, let me ask you another question. I think the rules are made for stainless steel or steel cable when they spec the diameter for them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if there are any other specs besides those specs that are permitted into unless they change the rules.
As far as I know, it's just diameter. Nothing about a pound test or anything like that.
Is the diameter, but is the diameter of a steel wire, not a whatever else, Kevlar or whatever the Spectras are made out of.
Well, not Kevlar, but Spectra. Well, yes and no. Okay, the way it reads, they're legal in combat, and they're legal for sport flying, and a contest director can allow them at a contest if they put it in the sanction. And the way it reads is Spectra line still has to have the same nominal diameter as steel line for the same weight of the model. Okay, so if you're flying an airplane that is supposed to be flown on 18s, and I don't know what the cutoff is. You said 64 ounces, I think?
I think it's 64.
Okay, so if you're flying an airplane, you have to use a Spectra line that is the same nominal diameter as 18s.
Mm-hmm.
The nominal diameter of a Spectra line that's over 18 thousandths is the 100-pound test. So you have to use the 100-pound Spectra for any model over 64 ounces. And then it goes down from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see. Yeah.
On Spectra line has to be 15,000 around, which I think gets you down to 55 pound Spectra, something like that. So in combat, in speed limit and fast combat, we have to fly. We use 100-pound Spectra for that because the rule right now, the 100-pound Spectra meets the 18 thousandths nominal diameter.
Yep.
Has to be the same. But we don't need to use 100-pound test for 75-mile-an-hour combat. When I'm fun flying or sport flying my combat planes, I fly them on 50-pound Spectra. It's more than enough. But in a combat, it has to be the same diameter as what's called out for steel. That's why it's 100 pound.
Yeah.
It's thicker.
Yeah. For what I know, I may be wrong. The only specs that you see in the rule book for flying stunt, the specs are made for stainless steel or steel wire. So
correct.
If you go outside of that kind of material, I guess those specs no longer apply unless
there's an
maybe
addendum.
Something that needs to be a rule change for the future years to add to the stainless steel the Spectra lines, for example.
There's an addendum in there that says if you're gonna fly Spectra, if your model weighs this many ounces, you have to use this so many pounds test Spectra. So there's a conversion chart in there. You got to use whatever pound test based on the weight of the model. They need to get away from all that bullshit and just do a pull test. And if it passes, Spectra line is bulletproof, man. I'm telling you, the shit don't break, man. It doesn't. It's stronger than steel.
Does it kink?
And it doesn't kink. You can walk all over it, man. You can step on
Nice.
it.
I like that.
Yeah, any combat guys, they drag their lines around the field and everything.
When we get done flying, we drag our airplanes off the field and just drag grass. You can't hurt it.
You guys are brutes with your planes.
Larry, you can show it to us what it looks like.
You can get yellow lines, man, like high vis yellow.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna show you what some looks like here, man.
Uh-huh.
I got it here. Hold on. Find it. All right, I'm gonna turn my camera around here so you can see it. Look at that! Wouldn't you like to be able to see those lines going through the grass? Right?
Uh-huh.
This is 100-pound test right here. That's 100-pound Spectra.
Uh-huh.
But as long as you make the right knot and you do a double loop on it, and you don't even use an eyelet. You don't even have to use an eyelet with it, you know?
Uh-huh.
Wow. No eyelet.
No eyelet.
Uh-huh.
You know what? I'll set up a little test here right now. Give me a second. You guys continue.
All right.
So where do you buy you buy that from a you know, fishing equipment, or where you?
Yes. Power Pro Spectra.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just gonna here with a piece of line and tie it up. I'm gonna show you how strong this stuff is, man. Give me a second.
All right. Yeah, I use the Spectra lines for my stooge. For my stooge line. That's what I use it for.
I use a kink line for my stooge.
Use a what?
I use a kink line, a line that's not that great anymore. I put it on the stooge and use it.
Yeah, that works too.
Use a kink line for the stooge.
I use the timer and the button.
Yeah.
Push the button. I have 35 seconds to get to the handle and get ready for flying.
That works, yeah. I got that set up as well, but with nitro, no button.
So how's your Thunder Gazer flying, Steve?
I haven't flown it since November, since our contest in November. It's flying really well, though. I've done some trim work since you've seen it last at Golden State, and I got it really flying well now.
I bet you're gonna be something to deal with next year.
I got that plane turning on the dime. I have it tracking really well. I got it cornering and tracking on the dime. It is really nice. Work I've done to that plane since, and in a month's time, I changed that around quite a bit.
Wow.
Rechanged the CG on it a little bit, and the vertical CG and the center CG. I did that, put the vortex generators into it, stabilized more of the tracking ability for it, gave it a smoother corner.
So now, when you buy the vortex generators from Howard, how many do you get, and how much does it cost?
Howard, he makes them. He's got a machine that makes them.
Yeah, he's a 3D printer.
Yeah, some kind of vortex printer or whatever, and he makes them and so forth. And I got it from him. He had a whole bunch of them there, and I've known him for quite a while, and he appreciated me asking him for it. So he didn't charge me anything for him when I asked him for them.
Okay. All right.
I told him how many I needed, and he was happy to be just of help. He had so many he had gotten, and he was giving them away to certain people.
Is this your first big stunt ship?
Mine? No. No, I've had other big stunt ships already with that. I've built my first couple ones I had were Time Machine 60s, which is a 90% pattern master. I built those. I've had a Strega already, and that didn't work too well. That was there was a fallback when I got into that Strega. That plane just didn't work too well for me. I had a Shark 45. Now I have the Thunder Gazer. I have this one here. I also have a Brodak Jet Blue Angel. I've had an SV-22, an SV-11.
Yep, those are all good planes.
Yeah.
So she says, so she, how does this compare to the SVs?
What's that?
The Thunder Gazer. How does it compare to the SV?
How does the Thunder Gazer compare to the SV? Actually, it's a total different ball game because when I flew the SV, I flew those with side exhaust, and this one here is piped. So I'm flying this airplane a lot slower than I flew the SVs, and I got more power, and the turning capability and stability of this airplane is a lot better than the SVs were. I mean, the SVs were great airplanes because I didn't build those, and I got them from someone, and therefore I didn't have the heart into it where you build an airplane and you say I'm worried about it and I cared about it and if something happened. So it was a plane I didn't worry about, and I just I'm gonna put it there and practice on maneuvers, practice the pattern, and work with it, and I flew it until the plane would actually literally fall apart. And that was a good airplane for that purpose. Tracked really well, turned well, they were light. If I compared it, Thunder Gazer is a better airplane. Thunder Gazer, by far, if I had to compare it, is a much better airplane. The tracking stability to it and the way it turns is a lot better, especially with the power supply.
Let me guess, when you moved to a better plane, your scores went up almost instantly, didn't they?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You put yourself into a better airplane. You give yourself a plane that's a dog in the air. You give yourself a heavy airplane that's out of trim and it's a dog in the air. You're flying and your scores are flying. All of a sudden, pick up an airplane that's perfectly trimmed and really trimmed well. You start flying better instantly, and your scores go up. And then I can build this airplane better. Let's just, for instance, I build this airplane even lighter, and I build it better than I do my Thunder Gazer. I'll fly this better than I would my Thunder Gazer. My scores will go up again. The airplane makes the pilot. The better the airplane, the better the pilot.
Oh yeah, it's almost like that. Yeah. When I went to the nets right now, my previous high score was, I think, was 510 or 515 points. On this one, I had 535, and that was with 15 flights on board.
Wow.
On that plane. So, but it is so easy to fly.
Yeah.
It is so easy to fly that it's instant. Yeah.
I took my Thunder Gazer, and I had about 10 flights at it here at home, with working with props and just working with line lengths and getting lap time speeds, getting things together to that nature. Really didn't have a full pattern in with it. And said, I'm taking this plane to Golden State. I flew 30 practice flights with it at Golden State before I flew my officials and turned that airplane out there at the contest and got it to fly exactly and do what I wanted it to point and put and go where I wanted it to go. And I had full confidence in that plane. It tracked.
Yes. Yeah, it makes a difference. It makes a huge difference.
It makes a difference.
If I ask you to fly a twister and make progress, you probably could not, because probably the twister cannot fly. You fly better than the plane can fly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I'm expecting more.
Yes.
Than the plane's going to be able to give me.
Yeah. Yeah. I find myself that in a position right now that I have to change my flying style. I can no longer fly the plane the way I used to.
Oh, that's why I have my father and I have this camera that I set up on the tripod, and I videotape my flights. Then I come back and I put it on the TV here. I got a 50-inch TV, and I watch the flights, and I keep watching what I don't like about it, and I understand what I have to improve. Now,
That is
I
a
learned.
huge help. I said that is a huge help.
Oh, absolutely, it's a great help. But I sit there and I say, okay, I don't like this, and I got to work on this, and here's what I got to do. Then I'll look at other people who do those maneuvers that fly better than me. I'm going to look at the top 5. I'm going to look at the top 10 people with the nats. I'm going to see how they're doing it and see it and get a visual perspective of it that way. Then I'm also going to count it, how they do it, and perfect that maneuver even better.
Yeah. To me right now, it's just getting back on the saddle because I haven't flown in forever. You know, I think 2002 was the last Nats that I attended, or maybe 2003, 2004, no more than that. And this is the first time I actually this year I started to fly a little bit and get back into it. I was in February. I had like 5-10 flights. And then the next time I flew was at the Nats.
Right.
For after all these years of not flying. So I'm still kind of getting back in the saddle, trying to get used to it. I'm doing okay. I'm doing pretty good, but
I mean, I have maneuvers I know I have to concentrate on more this year, and I got to work on. And I've been focusing on how I'm going to improve those and make them right, and how I'm going to change that flying style, and I'm going to improve my flying style to those specific maneuvers. So I got the airplane that's capable of doing it.
mm-hmm. Yeah, it's always the case. You know, when I see, I think anybody that can fly the full pattern, doesn't matter if it's pretty or ugly. You know, uh, if they move to a good competitive ship immediately after that, they're gonna make such huge progress and so fast.
Sure.
They will be surprised. And I'm not saying like they should look for the bottoms or something like that. No, you know, just fly normally, like what you're comfortable with or stuff like that, and fine tune it a little bit at a time, and it's just gonna get better.
You take an airplane. I mean, that's like saying I'm going to take an ARF, and then you take your airplane that's a built-up airplane that you build or somebody else built that flies it. You're going to find it night and day the way you fly.
Yeah, yeah. It's the thing is like see that the thing is like a beginner pilot will not be able to fly a poor airplane well because he's constantly flying around problems, constantly fighting with it and stuff like that.
He's
An
trying to absorb too much
pilot,
information.
yeah. On the other hand, an experienced pilot can take a bad plane and fly it very very well because he's got experience, right? So
No, he's going to make it more presentable that you're going to know what he was attempting to do.
exactly, yeah.
You're going to understand what type of maneuver it was, whether it's all over the sky or not. You're going to understand what type of maneuver it is.
Yeah. I used to go to Chicago in Schaumburg. They had a very nice flying club over there, a bunch of people. So most of the time, because I was just in a city, I wouldn't bring a plane with me or something like that. I would just go there and watch. And everybody said, "Hey, how you doing? You know, did you bring anything to fly?" Nah, I'm just gonna sit here and watch. And they say, "You want to fly?" I said, "Sure, I want to fly." And just here, go ahead, grab the handle. They'll let me grab the handle on their planes. They'll fuel up their planes, start the motor for me, and then just I would go fly. And they constantly came back to me and they said, "Man, you know you fly the plane better than I ever flew in my whole life, and you just you just got your hand on it." Or other time they would come around and said, "I didn't know the plane can do a triangle." And I said, "No, you're right, you cannot." I said, I had to do this and that to work around the problem to make it do that. and
You can fly an airplane. You can go out there and fly an airplane.
Tryon, I don't know if I should be taking advice from a guy who couldn't trim out a rubber band powered airplane at Muncie last summer, man.
I just kick his ass, man. That wing was so warped.
You worked
And
on
the
that thing
design
for
of
an
that thing
hour.
was so bad. You know, I was like, all right,
It was
here's the
funny,
challenge.
Charles.
Let's make
Yeah.
a challenge for this coming Nats, okay? And the challenge is build any plane rubber powered. Let's say we use 2 sheets of 1/16 balsa, 36 inches long by 4 inches wide.
You're splitting hairs. You're splitting hairs. No, the challenge is you buy a plane from the AMA museum, whatever they sell there, and you get it to fly. That's what we did, Charles. We all Tryon bought the bad one, but Dan and I both bought the AMA alphas, and we were out there in the field just before sunset doing rubber free flight stuff, and our alphas were killing it. They were going. Tryon bought this other piece of junk that AMA sells at the museum. And he worked and worked and worked and worked, and every time he launched it, he went now. And me and Dan were launching our alphas, and they were just going and going and going. So no, Tryon, the contest is buy the best plane you can from the AMA museum and make it fly the longest. Not home built stuff. I don't want to go up against you with home built free flight rubber, man. I see the stuff you build. No. We're not bringing them from home. You got to buy it at the museum, and you got to make it fly while you're there at the Nats.
When I was, I think I was 17 years old, I used to build those free flights gliders that you actually, you tow them with a line and you launch them and you just let them go when they fly after that.
Yeah.
And those are nice, you know. Anyways,
it was fun flying all that free flight stuff out there with Dan Banjock, though. You know.
It's a lot of fun to do something different. I fly. You already know that. I fly the discus launch gliders.
Right. That's why I'm saying you can't bring your own design rubber free flight to the Nats because you'll kill us all.
I said the rules are just use those 2 sheets of balsa. You can do anything with them.
Right. You'll still kill us all because you'll come up with some crazy long endurance flyer that's going to beat everybody. No, the deal, it's got to be a dime store airplane. It has to come from the museum, off the shelf in the museum. And then you can make whatever
right?
You can make whatever modifications you want to it, but it has to be bought at the museum.
Okay. All right, you have a competition then.
You buy whatever airplane the museum sells, and you can make whatever modification. And I'm not talking. You can't build a carbon fiber wing and put a 2-foot long motor stick on it either. But that was fun. That was a lot of fun flying that stuff that night.
It was. Yes. It kind of reminded me of the times when I was building those free flight planes.
Charles, are we going to see you at the Nats this year?
I just don't know.
Bro,
but I want to. It's just, you need more money to get there.
I know. It's hard for you guys out there on the left coast, man.
It's hard to get on the west coast. It's hard to get out to the Nats. It's 3 days of traveling to get out there.
It is. I get it, man. You know, but
if you wanna do it on a budget, I did this. Just get a tent. Get a tent. They have I think they have bathrooms and showers over there.
Yeah, nobody wants to do that, man. I need a swimming pool.
It's 3 days out there. 3 days. It's 3 days out to get out there. It's 3 days to get back. What's the time you're spending out there? It's a 2-week rendezvous.
Yeah, it's a bunch.
It's pricey to do that.
I really feel like we're living the last 10 years of the heyday of Control Line, man. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
Do you think in 10 years the Nats is going to be what it is now? I mean, it's already less than what it has been in the past, but look at
what you're hearing every day.
Look at
People
the
passing
age of
away.
all the guys. Look at the age of all the guys that are showing up at contests.
I know. I'm a kid.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
60.
I'm the
We're
young one
losing
too.
more
Yeah.
and more every day, and in 10 years, there's going to be a hell
I
of a
know.
lot
Oh,
less.
trust me. I feel it, man. That's why I went to Brodax, because it was supposed to be the last Brodax, in 2015, and I went there, and I just hook or crook to get myself there because I thought I was gonna be the last one. So I did that, and I know that what you're saying, Mike. You're absolutely right. And and I'm into stunt, and it's like if you're into something, you should go to the national championship of whatever it is. If you're into quilting, you should go to the national championship for quilting. If you're into quilting, thing. I mean, I really feel I should go to the Nats because that's what I'm into.
You don't have to go every year, but I think,
at least once,
in 10 years, it's going to be slim pickings there, maybe.
Oh, I know.
How many young people are out there still? I'm one of the youngest.
15 years left. I mean, local contests are going to start dwindling down too, because because of the age of the participants. It's going to get to a point where a club can't throw a contest anymore because only 5 guys are going to show up.
If you cannot encourage the children to come out and fly, you will not have any continuation in any sport anywhere. And kids are more interested in video games than going out and fly a plane.
I know you have a good thing going, Mike.
I tell you again, you're gonna see kids going into exciting stuff. They might go into, especially in stuff that they can just grab it off the shelf, go and compete with it, and have fun.
Because the other parents are not involved. The object of it is you got to get the parents involved in the hobby and have them have some type of.
Too late. If they were not involved until now, they will not get involved from now on.
That's not true.
The parents have to financially.
You met my son Samuel this summer. You met Sam this summer with me. He was a junior national champion. He won junior Pampa Stunt.
Yeah.
My 9-year-old
want to do it. I did expositions and expos and stuff like that in schools, and the kids get all excited and so forth. The problem is they have the high interest and like it at that time. The parents have to get involved. The parents financially support. The parents have to be there. The parents have to bring the kid out and state. That's something that it's a parent and kid activity. If that don't happen, you're never going to see it.
Hey, Mike.
It is a parent and kid activity, and I'm fortunate. I'm 51. Sam is 10, and he loves flying control line. So we're gonna ride this wave until there's no wave to ride. Sam and we went to 8 contests and 1 fun fly last summer in 2018. We hit 8 contests and 1 fun fly.
That's
and we flew stunt and combat and all of them. And we're going to ride because I love flying with Sam. I love that my kid likes it.
Yeah.
And we're going to ride it till it's dead. But I think when Sam is an adult, there's not going to be as many opportunities for him to fly in contests as there are.
It's sad. It's sad.
Hey, Mike, were you going to show us some kind of a line test or something?
Yeah, I was, but I couldn't get it all together, man. I was trying.
Okay.
I got to close it up. Y'all can stay and talk, but I'm going to go ahead and shut down the broadcast.
Alrighty.
Well, I need to go to sleep too. And by the way, just spending time with Sam at the competition and at the Nats, that was awesome.
All right.
We'll be there next year, man.
If I could gather the time and it wasn't such a time-consuming issue, I'd love to see the Nats and go out there and do that again. I haven't been to the Nats in a long time.
Uh-huh.
Well, Ryan, you were at the Canton, Georgia contest too, weren't you?
Yes.
Yeah, we saw you at Canton too after the Nats.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you go to Huntersville as well, right? Haven't I
Yes.
seen you at Huntersville?
Yeah, I've seen you there too.
Why don't you come fly some combat with us at Huntersville, man?
I don't have any combat planes. And
I
don't...
have combat planes. I'll give you combat planes. All you got to do is show up on the circle on Saturday, and you can fly combat. You have
All right,
equipment.
let's do it.
I'm
All
telling
right.
you.
That's
That's
good.
it.
I will give equipment to anyone that wants to fly combat. If you're at a contest and you want to fly it, I'll give you equipment.
Oh, that's sweet.
I got guys out here that like to fight combat.
All right.
Okay, people.
All right. I hope
Yeah,
next time we check in, I got a flight report from the SV-22 and the
That sounds good, man. Look forward to hearing it.
Yeah.
Y'all have a good weekend.
Next time we come on, the rest of the progress I'm getting on these Patriot here.
Okay, take it easy, man. Y'all have a great weekend. Come back and tell us all about it on Monday. And
All right.
till then, fair winds, tight lines, and we'll see y'all later.
See you later.